Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and here we are. Also, let me turn down game audio. There you go. So, here we are, World of Tankers. In today's live stream, we are playing on Lesta. Also, let me make sure the controls are what I like. No, they're not. The other person who uses... Oh, wait, sorry. Nobody else uses this account to Lesta. But the other person who messed around with it has different settings than me. And for some reason, the Lesta version always changes the settings. So I have to just reset them every single time. It's not too much of a problem. It only takes like a second. Then I turn this off. Then I have to go over here, turn this, and then redo that. So it's not too big of a deal. There you go. Set the replay limit up. The rest of the graphics should be fine. I don't know what this means, but I'll set that to max. Set that to max. There you go. Beautiful. Alright, well there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are in Lesta, and as you can see, there are more tanks on Lesta than there are in Blitz. Now, that's not to say that we don't have new tanks on Blitz. In fact, the Rinoceronte does not exist on Lesta, as we can see. So, there are lines in Blitz, there are tanks in Blitz which don't exist in Lesta, and vice versa. But yes, we do have some vehicles like the Object 780, the AAT-60, and the Golden Jagdpanzer E100, which obviously do not exist in Blitz. Also the FE205B Alligator. So there's some interesting things. Also this absolutely broken vehicle. So yeah, there's a lot. Can you run a better camo on this tank? I feel like this camo is really goofy. There's a legendary camo. It's not great. Let's see, what camos do you already have unlocked? I don't want to, like, use... I could do this one. Or this. We'll do this. I think this looks better than the blue, personally. There we go. Boom, boom. Easy. I think that looks slightly better. Okay. So let me pull up the chat as usual. Let me see if I set it to Blitz, if it stays... Oh. Yeah, that's not what I want. Okay. Well, one sec. One sec. Let me pull up the stream chat. And then let me pull this, close that, and then display. Okay. And then let me set it to my camera. I like to pull up my chat on Opera. I don't really use Opera for anything but my chat, but it's nice to be able to see it. So there we go. Okay. Alright, we're good. We are good. Here we are. And let me set it back to display. Okay, perfect. Let me grab this thing. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just do some games. Peter, if you want to see certain tanks played as well, you can let me know. You know, what's interesting is that Lesta doesn't have the completely overpowered, refined gun, or you know, V-Stabs is still good because they never went through the equipment changes on Lesta, so armor still is 4%. It's still all the OG values we're working with, which is actually quite nice. Alright, well, let's do a game. Droodles playing Lesta before GTA 6. How you doing, Hannah? Oh, this is new. They did something with the update. This was not the same yesterday. Or when I played it. They updated the game like yesterday or something, and they changed the loading screen. This is not what it was before. Alright, here we go. In the I don't know what the heck this tank's called. I like to call it the Icebreaker. I download Lesta on phone. I mean, yes, but I wouldn't really recommend to do it. It's very challenging to play on Lesta because of the fact that it's not really supported in Europe or America unless you live in Russia. Oh, auto-aim is still... Oh god, I gotta fix that. One sec. Let me move into cover really quick. Boop. There we go. Okay, clearly it did not save what I did. I set this down to 30. I remember doing that. I don't know why I didn't save that. There we go. Alright, problem solved. So, let's head over here. I'm mostly interested in the 116, yeah, because the thing's absolutely busted. 3,400 DPM, like what the hell? Alright, now we can move the armor to the front, watch this. Boom! Unfortunately, we go 1 kilometer per hour. I didn't even see that VK90 poking. Alright. What are you doing? Oh. Oh no, guys. The VK90's aiming at me. Oh, this tank is so frickin' stupid. Well, if our team's gonna win that, I'm just gonna move up over here. Come here, VK90. I want to say hi to you. What are you gonna do? Ow. Oh, that's not good. I don't want a 140 on my side. Boom. Well, actually, we're fine here, so I'm just gonna chill right here. What are you gonna do to me? What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? Isn't this tank fair and balanced? Oh, yeah. Boom. Oh, you don't want to aim at me anymore. Oh my god, this tank is so overpowered, bro. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, we got the grill. Oh, could you not pen me either? Oh, can you not pen me? Oh, man. Oh, you want to try too? Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Give it your best shot. Oh, boop. There you go. 385. Uh-huh. Oh, look, I got penned. I guess you went through my lower plate. Oh. This thing is entirely broken. Are you gonna pen me this time? Oh, okay. So it looks like you can pen the lower plate, so I just gotta angle it down a little bit, and then we're fine. You know. Boom! By the way, for any of you that are unaware, this is the most overpowered tank in the game. It's so overpowered that it was banned by comp. That's how OP it is. Like, you know a tank's not good for the game when it's banned from comp. How many millimeters of armor? I don't know, but you really can't pen it frontally. It's entirely... I blocked 4,000 that game. Yep, there you go. That is the completely fair and balanced icebreaker. Do you know they're always stealing wargaming ideas and tanks? I don't know. I mean, they haven't put any of the new tech trees in, which is interesting. And they did do the alligator, which Wargaming hasn't done, so maybe. But Wargaming also, I don't know, Wargaming hasn't done a lot of the vehicles they've added, like the AAT-60 and as well the 780. Where's the 780? Here it is. This tank. Alright, so Peter, you want to see the 116. Let's go get that thing out. This is so much better than the Blitz 116. It's not even funny. For example, the vehicle has 3,400 DPM on less stuff. The vehicle also features a top speed of 45 with a powered weight of 17. The vehicle has 300 millimeters base turret armor. I aimed on the turret with my YAG the other day, and I could not pen it. That's how stupid it is. Like, the armor is absolutely busted. It's insane. The camo's alright. By the way, you got like a little floating duck there. Interesting. Alright, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do in the 116 that I wish was in Blitz. Also, you may notice that you instantly load in the games because there's anywhere from 400 to 500 people playing on this server at any given time, which is like double to triple the NA server. I don't love the camo for the 116, I will say that. Boyokole. 8.4 second reload for a 480 alpha. I want you to think about that for a second, guys. 480 alpha for an 8.4 second reload. Oh yeah, the tank also has 7 degrees of gun depression. Like, what were we thinking? Now, I don't know how the accuracy is. It doesn't seem awful. It's not good, though. Yeah, that's why running calibrated is still, you know, usually the way to go, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay. Clicked off game for a second, my graphics went to Duker. I think I'm gonna move down here. Maybe we can get a shell into the share again. No. Alright, let's move over here. And let's see if I can get some damage into the Kron, maybe. There you go. 526. Not able to hit that. No. Unless I was, like, goated with the sauce and hatched him, but that was never going to happen. Oh, we got the 100 over here. Boom. Alright, you want to go? You're going to get it, bro. You're going to get it if you want to go. There's one. There's two. Oh, yeah, E100 has reactive armor, by the way. Why? I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you bounce me? Because this tank has, like, stupid armor. What is... Oh, it's a 4005. I didn't look. It's my fault. I didn't look until I looked for, like, a brief moment, and then I didn't pay attention. Oh, well. Oh, well. What other tanks do we have? I probably should run Cali. You know, big DPM go burr, but at the end of the day, calibrated shells is probably the way to go. Oh, yeah. Notice something about the E6? Notice something weird about the E6? Bruh. Alright. Let's do... I've been messing around with the AAT-60, so let me show you guys the stats of this vehicle. It has a 1.33 second intra-clip, and it does 310 damage. So, it's basically a TVP, but with a 1.6 second intra-clip. Or no, was it 1.3? I don't remember. My brain died. But the thing's stupid. Alright, let's try her out. Will you watch the Wargaming Q&A stream? Probably later. I'm not going to do that right now. They're not going to answer any of the questions that I have. I'm quite confident in that. Here we go. Now, the only problem is I don't know how to look at armor on Lesta. Maybe one of you guys know how to, but I don't know how to. So, yeah. Where's the hatch? Yeah, bro. Where's the hatch? Where's the hatch? Wargaming, or Lesta did the E5 treatment and just scraped the hatch off. 1.3, yeah, it's not 1.6, 1.3. I don't know why I said 1.6. Well, might as well reload the clip. I'm gonna try and help out my boss Schultian. See if I can do that. This might be a little cooked, I'm not gonna lie. When I say might be a little cooked, it might be a lot cooked. Okay, and... can't do anything to you. Oh, well, that 2 and 5 he's moving up. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, this tank is insane. Now, unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna matter because, I mean, you can see what's happening here. My team is just being absolutely demolished right now. Which is not ideal. I think we can all agree. That's not entirely ideal. So, oh well. Okay. Okay, what is that awful HE sound? Look at this guy running from me. There's no way we were going to win this, though. At the end of the day, doesn't matter what version of Blitz you play on, the teams will always suck. No matter what, they will always suck. So, yeah. Bad. Honestly, I think that I need the game audio is still super loud. Yeah, I need to turn this down more. Okay, well. Yeah. Let's try another game in this tank. Well, yeah, why not? Yeah, our teams aren't great, I won't lie. Orphans 1403. What am I reading? Also, you want to know something funny? This tank was sold for $40. And not only that, it came with 15,000 gold, fully equipped with a legendary camo. Yes, you heard that right. $40. Imagine Blitz doing that. Imagine Wargaming being like, yo guys, let's release a new tier 10 for $40. That also gives you 15,000 gold. Is Lesta better than Wargaming's? No. And yes. They're very different. And it's hard to compare the two because of the extreme difference in balancing that both companies have gone for. That's really the best way to describe it. Like, Lesta has some very fun things that I like. But it also has some very stupid things that I probably wouldn't like if I was playing this game for an extended period of time. I like the fact that there's a lot of new tier 10s. I don't like the fact there's almost no new tech trees, though. I like tech trees, and there's only one new tech tree on Lesta, and it's been a while since they've obviously, you know, added them. Hello, Mr. Yo. How are you doing? 1, 2, 3... 4, 1,282 in 5-ish seconds. That is insane. What the hell is this tank? Oh my god. What is this tank, bro? Well, we got the VK-72 over here, but we can't hit that. I wonder if we can hit the... Well, we might be able to hit the... Nah. I'm just gonna go for the V4. Oh, okay. Well, reticle lag will never be fixed on any variants. Yeah, the only problem is I am at a bit of ping, obviously. So, snapping shots can be a little challenging. You know, I couldn't happen to notice, but it looks like my team sucks again. You know? Bro, what am I looking at here? This is gonna be a loss. I'm looking at Cancerville right now. But hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,300 damage. Oh my god, this thing is so stupid. What the hell was Lesta thinking? What in the concept autoloader is this? Nah, it's good for the game. Oh, come on, reload. There we go. Alright, we have the Yo over here. There you go. Let's reload our clip. You know, this is winnable. I'm just gonna pray that the chieftain doesn't, like, go out of his way to tunnel me. So it looks like that's what he might be doing. 6 seconds left on our reload. Then maybe we can get some damage into the chieftain is what I'm kind of hoping. Alright, chieftain shot. 1, 2. Well, there's 560. I want to hatch him, but with the ping difference, hitting those hatch shots is nearly impossible. But yeah, hitting hatch shots with this ping is nearly impossible, so there's no point to do that. Okay. Hey, Mr. E6, how you doing, bro? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, this thing is overpowered. What the hell? Lesta gives away millions of gold too, so economics is sick. Do you mean sick as in bad, or sick as in, like, cool? Also, I just realized you guys could have told me my camera was off. I didn't realize that. I would have fixed my camera. I didn't realize my camera was, like, fully off there. Bro, 5,800 damage, 255,000 credits, and an ace. Alright, well, that was fun. Let's move over to a different tank. How about we do, You guys want to see the alligator? The alligator. I feel like this one could be pretty fun. This tank has 4,000 DPM. We're going to run Cali on it, though. Well, yeah, we're going to do Cali. I feel like, screw it, we'll do Rammer. I also need to run V-Stabs. So the alligator is basically the Tech Tree 183, because the 183 is no longer available. In fact, I don't even think this player... No, this guy doesn't have the 183. So yeah, the 183 is no longer available in the game, and because of that, it is still a tank you can play. In fact, you can see it right there. But this is the alligator, which is the Badger's equivalent on the Tech Tree lines. You start off with the AT2 and you go all the way up to the alligator. So this thing has 4,000 DPM and everything else, you know. It's slow though, it only goes 25. I don't know how I feel about this tank. Are you gonna watch the Q&A? Maybe. Sick as very bad. Oh yeah, this tank has speed boost though. It's a weird texture there. Well, let's move on in. This tank also only has like 6 degrees of gun depression. I don't... The problem is, again, is I can't see the armor. There's no way to look at the armor highlighting because I don't know any of the websites for it. So, right now, this is all we got. Oh, he has a 183 now. Boop. There you go, 350. Aiming in again. And boop, 407. And again. Is he just gonna keep sitting there? Boop. I mean, I'm just gonna keep blind firing until I see my shells. Oh, he finally backed up. He finally learned his lesson. Oh, did he? I don't know. Looked like he was gonna poke that again. You just scrolled over the 183. Yes, I did. Believe it or not. Meet the Badger's cousin. Honestly, I'd be down for this tank to exist in Blitz. It also has Hesh, as you can see right there, 537 damage into the side of the 50M, which is pretty sweet, honestly. What are the Russians cooking? I mean, this tank's not any better than the Badger, to be fair. It's solid, but I can't say it's like... This thing doesn't seem that OP to me compared to the Badger that we already have. Especially because it's quite slow. Ooh! And yeah, I don't know, its armor seems pretty useless, I'm not gonna lie. The gun seems good, but like the fact that the 5A went through my roof and my hull leads me to believe that this tank is not that strong. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't seem that strong to me. Now the 5A did get a heat pen buff, it's got about 350 mils of heat now, but still, I don't know, I feel like a tank like this should have like T28 HTC levels of armor where like the hull is super strong, and then maybe like the cutouts here and here are the weak spots or something, but I don't know. I haven't had the most enjoyable experience when driving this tank. Alright, let's see what else. I mean, there's so much on Lesta, it's kind of wild. There's so much, bruh. We have, where is it? We have the Object 780, which is... I think the Object 780 is even more overpowered than the Icebreaker Tech Tree. This thing has 2,800 health, 2,862 health. It has 460 damage per shot, 8 degrees of gun depression, a top speed of 50, a reverse of 20, tungsten, and a power-to-weight ratio similar to that of an AMX 50B. I think, after all, this hype Lesta must make game able for any other countries and include English language. I would hope. The problem, Swetchman, is that obviously Russia has a bunch of sanctions right now. That's the big problem. So, yeah. I don't think that will ever happen, because right now Putin basically funds Lesta. So, Yeah. But look at the mobility on this thing, bro. Look at the mobility on this thing. It's insane. Like, what the heck? Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, 2 can play at that game, buddy. Elbozo. Alright, yeah. This thing is ridiculous. No, I am spotted for 20 seconds. Oh. Look at that. Once again, the skilled players. It doesn't matter what version of the game you play on, you will always run into morons. Yep, there it is. What do you do to counter that tank? Like, actually, what do you do to counter that? You can't. You can't counter that tank. It's that overpowered. Also, what are we doing, guys? You know, I don't know why, but I was just hoping that, like, the Lesta players would have 0.1% more brain cells, but they don't. In fact, they might have less brain cells. The Lesta players are somehow maybe even worse in the NA server. These players are bad. Now, where did this VK90 go? That's what I want to unravel. Have you met a Greek guy? Why are you asking me this? Achilles, you always ask the goofiest questions. I swear, bro. Let me guess. I'm talking to a Greek guy. I don't know where the heck the VK90 went. I don't understand. Did he, like, flex over here? There you go. Nice. They have a VK90. He had to have flexed all the way over here. Yep, there he is. Okay, let me get the clearance of you at least. We have the, oh, we got the grill. Ow. Yeah. Oh, we overmatched the lower engine deck. Yo, guys, is the Wargaming Q&A live right now? Yo, guys, is the Wargaming Q&A live right now? Believe it or not, I don't give a shit. Whoa! If you want to watch the Wargaming Q&A, go over to Wargaming's channel and watch the Q&A. I'm not doing that here. I'm doing a Lesta stream, bro. I know, they have a Q&A. They're going to do the same thing they did in the past. Yo, guys, why don't you participate in the Wargaming live stream? Yo, guys, did you know Wargaming's doing a Q&A right now? I wasn't sure, but now that you've told me for the 80th time. No, actually, I think I'm not sure yet. Guys, did you know they're doing a Wargaming Q&A right now? I'm not sure. I think maybe they are. Sometimes you guys actually give me, like, cancer. Nah, I was just a bad shot. Not that it... No, actually, that does matter a bit. That's a Yag. Okay. Yeah, goodbye. I probably should get out of here. There we go. Bro, Chieftain, what are we doing? Like, are you a cancer? I already know the answer to this. Yes, you are a cancer patient, bro. What are we doing? Like, actually, what are we doing? Oh my god. Russians aren't playing until they aren't drunk. It's great. Does this thing have armor? I'm not sure. Again, I don't really know because Wargaming doesn't really explain these things to it. Or Lesta doesn't really have these things listed. So it's kind of hard to tell, you know? Kind of hard to tell. What tanks do you guys want to see played? Is there any other tier 10s that were added that... I mean, the Golden Yag is just a reskinned Yag, so I can't really say there's anything truly remarkable with that. One of the tanks I really am interested about trying is the 263. Alright, you know what? Fine, guys. If you all want to see... Here, you know what? If you all want to see... the Wargaming Q&A, I will change the title of the stream to... Here we go. Wargaming Q&A. There you go. There. Happy? There. We can do the Q&A. Is that what you want? Here we go. Let me mute my music. Here you go. Let's see what this exciting Q&A brings to the table, guys.
One of there are some players that were kind of interested
There we
in
go.
the Alexandra, and today we are going to discuss with you a Reforged update and answer your questions. Today with me we have Tony, of course, well known.
I'm gonna leave it on ×2 speed, by the way. That way, at least we can catch up to when it's live.
And of course we have developers. So today with us we have the
Whoa.
and product director Andrei.
Hi guys.
They will be answering your questions and we'll share with you the upcoming steps and plans of our studio. Let's get started. Ready?
So it seems like we're like 5 days into this ultra test. Any general thoughts you want to share with us as players?
Sure.
Tricky questions.
Yeah, look, so like you said, we're 5 days in. It's been it was a very big, active, long weekend. We've had hundreds of thousands of battles. What, 350,000, I think? Yep. So that's been great. The attendance and the involvement has been awesome. The volume of comments has certainly not been small. We've heard tons of feedback. We got a bunch. We got a bunch of data, a bunch of technical issues that we've managed, thankfully, a lot of things to sort through, and a bunch of feedback from all the places that you would expect, whether that's Discord or Reddit or streamers themselves or the comments on the streamers' videos and all that. So it's been awesome for that. I will say in a bit of what maybe bad news for some people, we did manage to find the physics bug that's creating the AMX Airlines thing.
Are we
No, well, look, it's given us some interesting ideas for maybe a special mode or something, but yeah, it turns out that tanks that are under 40 tons will not be launching themselves into space on a regular basis going forward. We did manage to track that down. There was a fix that had gotten kind of stuck in the last merge before the test went live. So we did find that. And then again, I think also just tons of stuff about whether it's performance, compatibility issues on different devices, whether it's PC with different graphic cards or different phones, whether they're Android or iOS, and the different problems there. Tons of stuff, tons of feedback, tons of data that's been great, and the engineering team is just devouring that stuff now.
I like how even when I leave this on ×2 speed, Thane is still like average speed.
Yeah, so the amount of tickets is like crazy.
Yeah.
So huge respect to the team. It's something I could never imagine we can handle.
Yeah, and look.
Also, wait, let me grab this so I can read the chat. What happened? No, I want to. Oh, did I get that? There we go. Okay, there. Now I can read the chat. Whoa.
Stuff, right? You can do all the testing you want before it goes live, but until it's in the hands of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of players and all that, you just don't. There's certain things you don't see, you just can't get, right? And so that's the benefit of this, and especially again for a first test. I mean, when we first launched, it was I think within a few minutes, right? We saw there was a problem where the bots were sort of spamming the server.
The bots on the server started to respawn and take the whole capacity of the CPUs, and we had to turn it off actually for a while. Then the guys fixed it in about an hour and turned it back. So that's why the 1 hour delay on the release.
Yeah. And a few people, those of you who were in the first battles, right, and had like a why am I matching in and playing 2-on-2 or 3-on-3?
That
right?
was me. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the bots. It's the bots' fault.
Ours.
But that kind of stuff, right? That there's a huge technical advantage, right, to doing this test, and we're super thankful, obviously, for all the input and involvement that people have had to let us gather this stuff in. Beyond that, obviously, there's tons and tons of feedback on features and design and changes and all that, and I think that's the stuff we should spend a lot of time talking about.
Yeah, we're here to address it basically.
Yeah.
Actually, in the chat we have the spam right now with to pay respect for the IMX back, which actually was a feature. Yeah, players loved it.
Yeah. Again, honestly, like I see that, and I think Halloween mode, April Fool's mode, something like that. Not today or tomorrow, but
Well, if your players love the AMX Airlines and that's the only thing that we love about Unreal Engine, that's probably not a good thing. I'm gonna be honest.
AMX Airlines.
Yeah.
But it's look, the fun thing, right, is sometimes these these crazy accidents actually turn into something cool that you can use much later on.
Absolutely. So we cannot avoid the topics that has already been covered from one point of view on YouTube and on Discord as well. But we still have questions about them, and let's jump to one of the biggest and hottest topics in our community: commanders. Yep. So we've already discussed a lot, and we released the video on YouTube with some explanations and with some aspects that you were interested in. And if you haven't watched it yet, please do it after the stream. But of course, we have something to share with you this time as well. So yep. Of course, we know that the visuals of the commanders was not what you wanted. However, I believe that there are some players that were kind of interested in the appearance of the commanders in the game as a feature, while the
I don't really care about the visuals of the commanders. I know that a lot of you guys in chat do. I personally could care less about the visuals of the commanders. I really don't. I don't know. I really just don't care about the visuals of the commanders. I'm going to be honest. I really don't. Mainly because of the fact the commanders are as long as they're balanced. So that's really all I'm gonna say. No one wants to see this. No, you guys asked for it, so now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. Now you get to watch. Now you guys get to watch the Wargaming live stream. We'll do the Lesta stream tomorrow. This is what you get to sit and watch now. I hope you're excited. Yo, guys.
visuals for the commanders can be improved, and I think that this point of view was well perceived and well taken into consideration, and we will make improvements, but let's discuss in more details.
Yeah. Look, we after the initial trailer came out, we said we got a lot of very clear feedback around commanders, and like you said, some of it is visuals, right? Some people have very strong views about visuals and problems with that. Some people have very strong views about the system itself and problems with that and concerns. And that was huge, and those problems and issues continued to represent themselves in the feedback once the people played in the ultra test itself. Tank sets, right, was another big one. And there's a bunch of other things that are in there as well. Those were the things that got the biggest amount of heat, right, the biggest amount of concern. As I said last time, right, on the stream a week ago, already before we went into the ultra test, we already agreed inside the team. We already decided to make changes on the visual style part. In the time since then, since we've come back and gone through all this stuff, we've already got one commander who we've put on the shelf, right, who we're just not going to proceed forward with at all at this point. We've got another one where I've already seen rework from Yuri and from the art team to make.
Which commander have they put on the shelf? Is this one that they... I would assume this is one that they haven't put into the game yet.
A bunch of changes to the base model, and so that's with commanders that we've got now and some other changes that are that are more broadly happening. And then frankly, it's also about future commanders. So as an example, our intention is that in seasons going forward, you have a new season, you'll release new sets, new commanders. That'll be part of the way we roll this out. Our first commander that's going to be in that season is already being completely redesigned in keeping with the feedback here.
Okay, that's a good example that
Does that mean it's going to cost money? We're going to find out.
the opinion of players was not only heard, but that helped us to make the right steps in improving the system.
I would add that apart from the commanders themselves, actually we got a lot of data about how the current experience got transferred to the commanders. We found a lot of bugs there, and we will be changing the numbers of how you would change your current crew to commanders and their skills, how you pick them, how you upgrade them. So that helped a lot, and that's something that we're focusing as well.
I think the other thing, it's interesting. We've got a lot of people say, look, I want this, I want historical, I want realistic, I want. And there's a huge segment, a very important segment of those players that are that group, right, that want those things. There are also other people who are not as strongly motivated about that. And one of the things that we want is to make sure, right, like with the commanders as an example, that let's again not about the system, right? I'm just talking about kind of the style, the visuals, everything else for the moment. We want for people who really don't want to see it, they don't want to see this command. They don't, whether it's realistic or cartoony or whatever, they just don't want to see it, right? They don't want to hear them, they don't want to see them. We're going to make things happen, right? We're already building in some features that are going to allow you to make choices about how much you want the commanders, from a presentation standpoint, to be something you're interacting with. Whether you're again seeing them next to your tank in the hangar, whether you're hearing them, whatever, right? These are things we're working on. Again, we talked a lot about commanders already, and I know people. One of the biggest comments that we had on the commanders video was actually, okay, so what about sets? So we want to spend time talking about sets, but absolutely, the feedback has been heard. We've got it.
The biggest question about commanders is if they're behind a paywall wargaming. That is the biggest question. Why do you keep dodging it? We'd already know. Just say that you're going to sell commanders behind a paywall so that I can make a video shitting on you. That's all you got to say. Or say you won't. I hate when companies do this. They ignore the biggest question that every single person has been asking. Every single content creator has agreed that if commanders are behind a paywall, it's going to be trash like walking war robot. And here we are. Wargaming, ignoring the question, bro.
We got you. We understand.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Written. You do that, then you have to rewrite all the APIs. We want to spend time talking about sets, but absolutely, the feedback has been heard. We've got is actually to do a full overview of the.
All right, here we go.
And like sets, like commanders, the economy is super complicated, and it's better rather than talking about one little bit or another little bit or whatever. We actually think we talked about this a lot over the last few days. We think what will be better is actually to do a full overview of the whole economy, right? How you get silver, what you spend it on, where it goes, right? What are the things you get in from the battle, where do they go, how does it work? And then and be able to explain to everybody how the new system is working now, and frankly how it's intended to work, because of course, as it's a test, some of the things don't work the way that we want them to, and some of the things need further change and tuning based on the data we got from the test. So I think much like we've gone through commanders, and there's some information out there. We'll go through sets today. There's some information that'll be out there. I think the next thing people can expect from us is a lot more information than about the economy.
Right.
Another thing that's small, but that I think I just want to get out quickly for people. There was a lot of commentary about the API support, and about hey, why you don't have this, and all that they heard from us so far was we don't have API support.
That's not the whole point, right?
Yeah, no, look, that's not the end of the story, right? So the more clear, and this is a commitment that we're making, right? We want to support the API. We want to continue, all these people who have devoted so much of their time and their energy to building all these cool sites and add-ons and things.
Some of those tools are actually really great.
Yeah, and frankly, a lot of them have helped inform stuff that we've done over the years, right? We want to support that. To do API support for a completely new engine, you have to build out the engine, you have to finish it, then you do a bunch of stuff to support the API. Early on, especially, as we know that in test things are prone to being either tweaked or slightly rewritten or very significantly rewritten, you do that, then you have to rewrite all the API support stuff. So we don't imagine that the API support will be there at launch for Reforged, but as soon as humanly possible after that, when we're through that sort of initial launch phase stuff, absolutely as soon as possible we will have that. And I know that was a big thing for everybody, and so again, before we get into
It's a big thing even for Andre. I know that Andre loves split stats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I use split stars actually a lot. And again, as Stain said, we're changing a lot of the backend, and that's actually the reason why it's not going to be compatible. And again, we are moving from 3 different clusters to 1 global, so it will require some changes from the guys who own these websites, and kind of reintegrate with the APIs. But again, we want to have that. We really value these third-party sites.
All right, well, that's good at least. I'm actually glad that they are going to be adding the API. That's one thing that I really actually want. So that's good at least.
And services, and like the ideas and services that they provide. Yeah. They're pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
So short answer, we'll get there. It just takes some time.
Yes, sure. Yeah, and again, I think look, as I said the first stream, right? We haven't done that great of a job of communicating our intentions sometimes, and I think this is one of those places, right? The message everybody.
This isn't. I said this in my video. This is entirely Wargaming's fault. All Wargaming had to do was talk to the community. I would have loved if I could have been briefed a week or two ahead of time on exactly what was happening with Unreal Engine. At the end of the day, I am the largest content creator for this game right now, and what I say usually holds a lot of weight. And when Wargaming throws out a trailer, doesn't give anybody any sense of idea what's going on, this is what's going to happen. I literally said that. I wrote down a bunch of notes because I might have a chat with Wargaming, and I wrote down a bunch of notes here on, like, everything. And I said, topic 6, backlash. The reason why the backlash hits so hard, ignoring the community over and over, the fact I'm largest review content creator, able to understand the community. Like, the problem is that Wargaming doesn't listen to people, and they should have understood that they should have explained what was going on here.
Everybody heard was, we want to have API support. What they didn't hear was the rest of the story, and that's on us, right? We have to do a better job of communicating what it is that we're doing.
Exactly. If you or anybody at Wargaming had sent me a brief memo saying, hey, these are the things that are happening. API is not being... The only thing that I had confirmation of was that API was not going to be in the game when the game was being launched. So that's it. And that's still true. So my assumption was API is not going to be supported. It is, which is actually good. I'm actually very happy about that. So, yeah.
Our intentions, and when we can't do something, why it is, and then what we intend to do down the line.
We came back from the commander's topic a little bit, so I would like to cover one of the questions that was asked on our Discord, haven't been discussed yet. The question, some abilities of commanders like Kai and Duncan increase alpha damage. Will you be changing this, since it increases the randomness of battles by not being able to predict how much you are getting hit for?
I think the short answer is yes. The current abilities and the numbers, the exact numbers of how much the alpha damage is amplified, are going to be changed. I know that right now they are increased to some bigger degree that we expected on purpose, just to see the impact. Because really, sometimes you can even double the number, and you will see no impact. And what does it mean? I mean, should we keep the old one or should we keep the increased one? Right now, we are still getting the stats. We had 300,000 battles. That's a lot. That unfortunately, that's not enough yet. Again, these numbers will be changing before the release, so we're gonna go to the release with other numbers.
They didn't really give us an answer there. So we'll have to see what happens, I guess.
But even after release, we will be changing these numbers anyway. I think every patch. My expectation is that every patch, because again, that's our goal, to keep the balance of the commanders. We don't want them to be OP. Of course, some of them will be OP, but that's our job to balance them out.
None of them will be intentionally OP. Some of them may, if they are OP, we will balance them down, right? Again, a core principle of the system with commanders is no matter which commander, no matter where you got them from, no matter any of that, they're all equal in the power level, in the power add that they provide to a player, right? So the difference between somebody who's got one fully leveled commander and 10 is not more power, it's just more choices about which commander and which skills they want to bring into the battle.
Yeah, but that's inherently wrong, because at the end of the day, certain commanders will give you a certain buff over others, right? Like, you can't just say that, oh, the commanders are all balanced, because if you look at one commander that gives you, I don't know, an additional 20% health, and another commander which gives you an additional 10% DPM, they're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. They're very, very different, and you can't state that, oh, they're all going to be the same, fair and balanced. I mean, the light tank commander, for example, gives you a 5% DPM boost and allows you to get spotted faster. How is that comparable to a commander that gives you more DPM? It's not. It's not comparable.
Expanded alpha being a factor, whether you can predict, are you one-shot now, or if there is a commander, if there is Duncan on the other side, are you going to get one-shotted now? I think that's a matter of the feedback. There are one-shot now, or... Sorry, coming back to the question about expanded alpha being a factor, whether you can predict, are you one-shot now, or if there is a commander, if there is Duncan on the other side, are you going to get one-shotted now? I think that's a matter of the feedback. There are some proposals from players like, hey, how do I know what commander is he driving? Yeah, these ideas, we'll collect them. Maybe we'll do them in the game. Maybe it's not on release, maybe later. But again, I think it's super valuable. Questions like that actually help a lot.
Okay, well, if you like the questions, then give us an answer.
That's a comment, and as you can see, we're open for the dialogue. And I see the chat is spamming with like, no commanders. Let's find the compromise, because there are players that want commanders, and they believe that it's a fresh air for the game.
To be honest, Alexandra, I really don't think there are many players that want commanders. If you guys think that, then make a poll. That's all you have to do. Make a poll. That's it. Make a poll. You have a YouTube stream right now. Make a poll. Do you want commanders? Yes, no. You don't have the balls to do it. You know why? Because you know if you made that poll, 99% of your audience would say no. Now, I don't hate the idea of commanders, but They do need to be properly balanced. But when it comes to the sorry, let me stop eating. When it comes to the community's opinion, 100% they do not want commanders. It's not like oh, there's some people that do. Yeah, there are some people. I mean, there's some people that want to commit suicide, but that doesn't mean all of us want to.
It might work. Yes, we've heard that you don't like the visuals. We are ready to change the visuals. You don't like the abilities and it's balanced. Let's change and let's test more. So let's find a compromise. Just farming with no commanders, it's not
Yeah, we need
what
a
you
medium
want.
here, definitely.
Well, and look, it's not even just about finding a medium, right? It's about, from a system standpoint, we feel like this is something we need to do. Again, having a system where more experienced players have an absolute power bump over less experienced players is just bad design, flat out bad design. It's not fair, and it causes players who are not 5-year and 10-year players to quit, and that's not nobody benefits. Long-term players, short-term players, nobody benefits when other players quit, right? Like I make this.
Well, let's be honest. Are the commanders really the reason why people are quitting? Well, not the commanders, but crew skills, Thane. Like, that's my question for you. You have all the stats, right? On my free-to-play account, I have already about 80% of the crew skills trained. Like, I could go load it up. I have every single crew skill at level 5 with about 3,000 games played. And I have about maybe 6 or 7 of them at the max level of 7. Precision Fire is level 7. Camouflage is level 7. On Move is at level 7. At that point, I only have about maybe 5% less capabilities than a person who has them all completely maxed out. You can use your XP from premiums and freely convert it without even spending credits to increase your crew skill level. And not only that, your first 5,500 games, you are placed against other people with 5,500 games. Maybe, instead of reworking the crew system, what you should have done is just made a crew tutorial which told people that these are important skills. You should grind them. This is how you can grind them. You can use premium tanks to do this. You can use premium tanks to do that. That's really as simple as it is. These are complications which could have been avoided by just simply being a little bit smarter. Or make it so that you're a noob MM to 10,000 games. It's that easy. Make it so that your first 10,000 games are a noob MM. And there you go. Now people can get all the crew skills ground. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard.
Kind of analogy all the time, right? Like I get it. It's awesome to be a lion hunting gazelles, right? If all the gazelles leave, then
We can't work,
it's just
but-
lions versus lions, and
It's not for everyone.
well, it's a very small and lethal.
I've never heard anyone complain about how OP and unfair crew skills are. Exactly, right? Nobody's complained about this. The only person who made a complaint about it was like Amunet. Huh?
Place, right? So, we know that we need to make those changes, but again, for the people whose issue around the commanders is stylistic, visual, whatever, we're gonna make changes to the style and the visuals and all.
I don't care about the style. I really don't. I could care less. The commander could be a walking dildo for all I care. It doesn't mean anything to me. I want the commanders themselves to be fair, fun, and, as I said, I wrote this in a little keypad of notes here. I said right here on the topic of balance, certain removed crew skills need to be added. Fire extinguishing, repair speed, and camo. Certain commanders like Olivia should be available for slow tank destroyers, Tortoise, Badger, as they play like heavies and should also get the HP buff. Equipment changes to be better vetted. Like, these are all things that I
and
feel.
also we're gonna give you the ability to decide how much or how little you want to see and hear from.
Direct wisdom, basically.
And then for the people whose issue is around systemic issues, again, to the extent people said, oh, this is just a way to hide pay to win, it is not. We're not going to hide better commanders behind a paywall or any of that. Everything is balanced. And for the people who are just not feeling good about the numbers in the system and the, in the set, like,
There it is.
we agree. Those,
Wait, there it is. There it is. We got it, guys. They said it. They said it. Go back. Go back. You ready? Listen to what he says.
decide how much or how little you want to see and hear from.
Direct wisdom, basically.
Listen to what
And
he
then for people
says.
whose issue is around systemic issues, again, to the extent people said, oh, this is just a way to hide pay to win, it is not. We're not going to hide better commanders behind a paywall or any of that.
So you are going to put commanders behind a paywall, though. You said we're not going to put better commanders behind a paywall. But what you didn't say was we're not going to put commanders behind a paywall. All you had to do is say we're not going to put commanders behind a paywall. But you didn't. You specifically said we're not putting better commanders behind a paywall. In other words, you are 100%. I mean, we already knew this, but Wargaming is going to sell commanders. Like, they're going to. And I'm going to talk about this in a video. But they're going to sell commanders. This is the problem. They don't understand. Nobody gives a shit about what the commanders look like. That's not the biggest problem here. The biggest problem is when you take the walking war robots path. It literally does not matter if that commander gives you 1% extra damage and has no other buff. You are putting abilities that are locked behind a paywall to players that only spend money. It does not matter if they are balanced. This is the problem. This is the problem.
Everything is balanced. And for the people who are just not feeling good about the numbers in the system,
And everything is balanced. Bruh, you guys tried balancing out the equipment changes a couple months ago, and you made V-stabs virtually useless. You buffed calibrated shells to a point where it's completely overpowered, and there's no reason to run gun rammer. I mean, you guys completely screwed up the equipment changes. Every time you rebalance the entire game and you try to make certain tanks better and certain tanks worse, you completely screw that up as well. So, yeah.
And in the set, like we agree, those again, it's the first of several tests planned. We don't expect that all the numbers are going to be good. And Andre said it early on. We did some tests with commanders, and the numbers were lower. And a bunch of people basically we got feedback like, I don't feel it, right? I don't see what benefit these have. So then we went further, and look, I think for some of them we overshot the mark. That's normal, right? But again, you make a dramatic change so that you find the boundary, and then you hone into the right place, right? Some of the skills are probably closer, right, than others. But piece by piece, we're going to make those choices, and we're going to come to numbers that feel fair and appropriate, and again, as importantly as anything else, balanced as among all the commanders.
Got it. Next hot topic. Sets.
Yeah. So look, I think Andre and I can talk about this a lot. I think again, like we did with commanders, we started by trying to just explain like why do we want to make changes to crew at all, right? And then we can talk about what do we want to get out of the the commander system, and then what are we doing, and what are the changes we want to make. I think that's the right kind of pattern here. So I want to start by just talking about.
Plus, I'm still confused, right? So Wargaming says that like the crew skill system is so that veterans don't have as much of an advantage as newer players, right? But what I don't understand is that like you still have to grind the skills on your commander. Like, am I wrong? What? I don't get it. How much XP does it cost to level your commander up to level 20? Like hundreds of thousands? And if you have 4 commanders, you might need 1,000,000 XP to get that thing, or all 4 of them, to level 10. Because remember, you can't drive all commanders on all tanks. Only Duncan can be used on all tanks. But what if you want to use Anthony, or you want to use Lisa, or you want to use this or that? That's not true. You still need XP to level up your commanders.
When we talk about moving away from the tank tree, right, making changes, why would we do that? Because for a lot of players, and certainly for anybody who's been playing this game 5 years, 10 years, any problems that we may see with the tank trees, for a person who's been playing that long, like, there are no problems, right? And because for them, all of the, whatever we see as these issues, problems, they're used to them and they're good, right? Like the tank tree for a really long time veteran player is a place where they find easily the tanks they want to play and interact with them. And they know where all of them are. Yep. It doesn't matter if that order is good, bad, perfect, the worst thing ever, whatever, they know it. And so for them, it's perfect, right? So I understand why it is that people are, immediately resistant or like, what do you mean you're gonna make changes to this? We all go through that, right? When Apple, releases an iOS update and, moves buttons around and things, right? It's a normal reaction for people who've been using it a long time. So I understand.
Yeah, but Apple actually makes it like more ergonomic. When Apple releases an iOS update, or like Android releases a new update, like I can still figure out where I'm scrolling or what I'm doing, because usually it's simple and it's better for the user. They're adding more haptics, they're adding more buttons. You are just making it more confusing.
Understand that when I say anything about these, the things we see as drawbacks, there's a whole bunch of people who are gonna say like, yeah, but I don't care. And we get that. But as an example, right, we have 8 already different nation flags, right, in the tree, right, when you go in. Especially if you're on a phone. The real estate there, right? Like, if we want to add a 9th, a 10th, an 11th, are we going to scroll down and make it, now it's 2 rows? Is it doubled up? Like, there's a ton. It is an incredibly dense screen. It's awesome because set of screens, actually, right? It's awesome because you can find all this stuff.
I don't understand. So you're saying the problem is that people have to scroll and click on a tech tree? I don't get it. I'm so confused. You literally just added sets, which you have to press little arrows on the side of because there's so many of them that you have to now start scrolling through the sets. Not only do you have to scroll up and down, you have to scroll right and left through the 80 different sets that are in the game. How is this easier to scroll through? This is hypocritical to your own statement.
But it's overwhelming in the amount of buttons and things and interactables that are on it. And again, if we want, like, part of the reason that the European Union tree exists is because, ideally there would be a Polish tree and an Italian tree,
Yep.
and all
There's
this, right?
actually asked about
Yeah. But like, we're out of room, right? So something has to happen. Either the icons get smaller to the point where it's, or it's a second row.
Okay, well, first of all, you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4 more icons here easily. So you can fit all the nations that are currently in the game right on this page. Or, hear me out, you could just increase this tab a little bit to like here. A little bit further out, and then you could stack them next to each other. Whoa! Instead, we have to add 18 different lines of sets and Netflix. It's literally like scrolling through Netflix. That's what it is. Like, what?
Row, and now everything gets pushed to the right, or it's scrolling, so even all of them don't fit on one, on the screen for you. So the system has been great, but like,
So just make it a little smaller.
Hundreds and hundreds of tanks and tens of nations later, we're kind of running out of room, and so we need to redesign house. So that's a part of it.
No. The reason why you're putting sets into the game is because you have to unlock them with keys, which is putting sets behind a paywall. Even if you can grind them for free, which I know their argument will be, it's because you can unlock them behind a paywall, which is keys, which they already have in the store for gold, which means this is one of the first things they probably added in the Unreal Engine. Meaning that what Wargaming really did is they said, how can we put a paywall behind tech trees? This is all a load of BS.
Another part is, we've got a lot of things that just aren't in the trees, right? A lot of tanks. a bunch of premiums aren't there, right? The Gothic tanks, if you want to call them, right? The Draculas and Frankensteins and Helsings of the world, right? The post-apocalyptic tanks, right? The
Okay,
all
out
of
of
the
Blitz Nation.
kind of Mad Games, tanks and things like that. They're not in there. What are we going to just drop them in as a subset off of the German line? Like it doesn't work.
Out of
right?
Blitz
So there's a bunch of
Nation.
tanks that aren't represented
Out of Blitz Nation. Lesta did this.
in the tank tree, and there's a bunch of issues that prevent us from being able to add more stuff. And then on
Not
top of
really.
that, the player base that exists now sees all of the freedom that all of these tanks give you. But we've also seen a lot of feedback, right? As a new player, getting into it, it's overwhelming. It's actually, I don't even know where to start. And also, there's nothing in the tank trees right now that gives you a sense of how that tank is going to play, right? You have to go in and
Okay, I've said this so many times though. Just make proper tutorials. I said this in a previous video. Just make it so that as a beginner, you only have like 5 heavy tank lines and 5 medium lines that you can go for. Have it so that they can either go for the E5 or the patent for the American tree when they start. Have it so they can only go for the IS-7 for the Soviet tree or the 268. Have it for the British tree that you really can't grind anything because there's no beginner British tanks. Make it so that there's tutorials. Make it so that when you click on a vehicle, it says, watch how to play this tank. Watch its play style. And then it's a little like 1-minute clip. This is the IS-7. It's a strong vehicle if you want to get bounces.
read a bunch of stats and.
Give us an example where it's illogical in the tech tree.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, one of my favorites, right? Like when you go in and you play start playing the British TDs, and you play the Electo, which was one of my favorite tanks in the game. Tier 4, zippy, it's super light. I mean, it's like a slot car with a howitzer attached, right? It's awesome, and you move and you run around and you shoot stuff, but you get hit, you're done.
Yep.
And then the very next tank you play is you're into the AT series.
Yep.
So you go from like fast and peppy and mobile to Jason from Friday the 13th. You don't move, you do hulking and slow.
Okay, but what's the problem? I don't get it. It's not that big of a... It's a tier 4. It's not like... Once you make it up to the higher tech tree vehicles, the only line in the game that has a tier 10, which is very different from the rest, is really the 4005 and the 183. And the reason why is because you guys refused to remove the 183 from the game. If the 183 wasn't in the game, and it was the alligator like Lesta's done it, then the whole line starting from tier 5 and up is all the same. And not only that, then you look at the 4005, and the 4005 on World of Tanks PC has the big ol' 183mm. That's why it was added in the PC. It was so that they could remove the 183 and they could put the 4005 into the game. So the reason why the Conway, the Charioteer, and the Challenger, all of these, single shot and hesh firing guns once you get from tier 8 to tier 9, it makes sense because the 4005 is also supposed to feature a single shot hesh firing gun. That was your poor balancing decisions. It's not a defect of the tech trees.
You will destroy anything that happens to get in front of you, but it's really easy for things not to be in front of you. The playstyle, it doesn't match, it's inconsistent, it doesn't, hold together. And as a player, that's jarring. As a new player, that can be very jarring. And there's nothing in the line that explains to you what's coming, right? So, where...
There's nothing in the line that explains to you what's coming. Okay, so just explain it. You know what I should do? I should pull up... guys, you know what I should do really quick? One sec. Let me load up Reforged while they're doing this in the background. Let me do that.
Take sets, right? And, if I'm a player, look, I don't know. Again, if I'm a World War II super hardcore tank enthusiast, I will know what a national is. I will know its strengths and weaknesses, how it fought, where it fought. I may even know which battles it was and wasn't in, and what tanks it was good at against or bad at against. If I'm a more casual player, it's just it's a toaster oven with a gun on the end, right? Or let alone something that's not even a name. It's a series of initials and numbers, right? VK4502. What is that? What's it good at? There's nothing about it that tells you what it's good at. With a set, right? If I'm looking not at the national one, right, but I see a thing that says silent slashers, right? And I see I open it up. And there's music, and there's a picture, and there's and there's a set description in the text, and now I can get a sense before I start playing the tank. I can get a sense of what that not just.
Okay, so let's unravel this mystery really quickly, guys. Let's go to sets. Let's look at the 60 TP set. Okay, let's look at how well organized these sets are. Okay. Oh, this is very loud. Let me turn down the audio. Let's look at how well organized these sets are. Okay, this is the 60 TP set, bro. Oh yeah, these are similar tanks, the AMX M4 and 60 TP, very similar. Oh, you know what? I think the Caliban, this is a similar tank to the AMX M4 and 60 TP, definitely, right? Oh yeah, and the 122 TM, yeah bro. Tech trees are too confusing. Playing the Electo, going to the AT2 is such a jarring experience. That's why we've put the Caliban and 122 TM in the same set as the 60 TP. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. I'm actually getting brain cancer. I'm actually getting brain cancer.
The whole line is going to feel like. And that is a big improvement. And again, especially as a player who's not as experienced, it's super helpful because then I don't make a bad decision about where I spend my resources.
Well, you know what to expect based on what you see.
And I play something that I'm likely to enjoy, right? And again, another benefit is then like, we have the similar sets, right? We can make recommendations for you, right? Hey, we see that this person plays a lot of this kind of fast zippy tank destroyer. They're good at it. They're successful at it.
But you can do all of this with the current game. You don't need to redesign and reinvent the wheel. When all these things that you've just said, you can do in the current Blitz. You could make it so there's tech tree designations. You could make it so when you click on a certain tech tree, it says, these tanks are XYZ. This is XYZ. Hey, did you like grinding this line? Maybe you'll like this line. These are all things that you could have put into the game. You did not need to redesign the UI for this. This is the problem, bro. Why? Why?
Over time, we figure that we can build in recommendations and things like that, right? Again, much like a streaming service can have, right? Where, hey, we notice you watch a lot of this kind of show. Here's other shows like that you probably enjoy. So those are a lot of the benefits that, again, the tank tree just doesn't provide.
I would add here that one of the cases that is really frustrating right now, and we see a lot of feedback from players. Say, let's take the same example that you gave with Alecto. Say you got to the Alecto, okay, you fully capped it, got all the modules, research the next tank, 82, but then you're stuck there.
Yeah.
And when you research it, your 82 is now in stock, with stock modules. It's not really good to drive. You don't have the equipment on it. So you kind of, on the joy meter, you were enjoying Alecto, and then you drop, and then you have to play from the beginning. Yeah. I know that's how the game is, right? On every tank, you got to the stock, and then you kind of climb back, you enjoy it, but then you have to go back. You have.
Not really. If people follow the advice, which I've always said, which is just use your free experience, you use the free XP to upgrade a tank. Just use your free XP. The whole point of free XP is that you use it to upgrade the next tank's modules. It's literally called free XP.
You have to drive this tank. You have no choice. You cannot get to 88 before you played 82. And that's actually frustrating. All of us went through this, we accepted, we are World of Tanks Blitz players, but then there are people who did not accept it. They probably don't watch the stream because they just
they're winning.
No, they're watching because they need to spam in the chat.
Look, in that line, right? Like, yeah, man, I wanted to get to the Babaha. I wanted to be able to experience the joy and thrill of smashing something to smithereens, right? Yeah, it's awesome. But I got to go through the tortoise to get there. And I know, there are a lot of people who like that particular playstyle. It's not for me. And, in the way that sets are...
Okay, once again, Wargaming. Once again, alright? So you're saying... So what they're trying to say right now is... I'm pretty sure what they're trying to say is they're like, oh, well, if you don't like the 45 TP, you can just keep playing the 40 TP and immediately skip the 45 and get the 53. Okay, I don't hate this idea, but they could have done the same thing with the tech trees and made it so that, pretend this is the tech tree. They could have done the same thing. They could have... They could have just made it so each tech tree has its own individual experience, and that you can use that XP to skip past a vehicle you don't like to upgrade the next one. The exact same thing. That could have been done. Like, again, they're making excuses for something that they could have solved in the current engine of Blitz.
They're constructed. If I don't want to play the tortoise, I don't have to play the tortoise.
Oh, wait. I need to... Okay, there we go.
Exactly.
Get to the end of the set.
And yeah, it may be faster or slower, whatever. Super low tier tank, your progression's gonna be slower, but still, you make the choices, right? Like I love the tier 5 AMX, right? The French light. I loved it. It's awesome. The tier 6 light, I like it.
Not that.
I don't love it, right? It just doesn't stick for me the same way. And we want to have a system, right? Like Andre said, where you don't have to choose between progressing to get to the tier 10, and actually enjoying yourself, right? That shouldn't be a thing that we force people to do.
Yeah, and actually here, even if you like MX12T, right, the choice that set system allows you is to switch to a different set. You don't have to start from the very beginning, from the very first tier, to get to, say, Soviet Su-152. Like you can, scan through the sets, pick the one that you like. You'll probably have enough keys because you already progressed in player level. And then you can select the second set, but you don't have to start either.
You'll probably have enough keys
from the very beginning, or,
sure,
pick the branch that you've been playing on, just the other branch.
And it doesn't force us if we're going to put out, like a lot of the sets, the tank lines that we put out, they'll start at like tier 6, right? And so again, either we have to make more room somehow in this very crowded real estate already.
You mean they'll start at tier 3? Sorry, you might be confusing yourself on your own rebalances. No, they're going to start at tier 3. Remember, tier 6 is now tier 3 thing.
To have yet another independent line. But then it's starting at tier 6. Well, you got to be able to go through tier 1 through 5 to get there. So then we branch it off of some other tier 5, which means now you got to go back and play that tier 5 yet again to be able to get to the point where you're doing the 6s and so on. So it, a set-based approach allows us to not force you through, those kinds of things. Again, I understand.
Yeah, that's great. So now, instead of grinding from like the M6 to a different line, what you've done is you've just made it so that the M6 and T1 Heavy are just in their own set alone for like no reason. Look at this. Watch this, guys. Where is it? Here we go. This is the M6 and T1 Heavy set. That's it. Those are the only two tech trees. So instead of making it so that like, these tanks actually grind to a tank, we just threw them in a random set and called it a day now. Yes. Whoa! Oh god, I keep forgetting to... I hate the set music. The set music is literally giving me cancer, bro.
Who are, who are saying, look, and I'm making up the number, not a million literally, right? But there's a bunch of people who say, look, I get that, but I don't want those things, right? But this is always the decisions that we have to make, right? We have to sometimes make changes to things and rearrange stuff in order to be able to make it going forward continue to be livable.
But we still do have some ideas how to make usability of sets more,
more
fit to current players that are used to tech trees.
Yeah, and in a weird way, right? Like part of the reason again that we see advantages with sets is that when you're a new player, look right now, and this is a problem with the ultra test, right? If you're a level 100 player and you come in and you've got these 100 tanks that are already unlocked as a veteran in the transfer event, and you come in, and the set screen is overwhelming, right?
Oh, I know. You've limited it to like 5 sets you can get as a new player, and the first high tier set that you can get your hands on is the frickin' tortoise set. I'm not even joking. Like I've messed around with the tutorial. Wargaming can't say I haven't done my homework here, because I have. Like if you scroll all the way to the beginning of the sets here, right? All the way to the beginning. These are the first sets you get here. So you get steel antlers, you got all these useless sets which give you like a tier 4 as your highest. These are the ones you unlock. The first set that you unlock that as a higher tier vehicle is the Carapace Corpse. Gives you the AT-2, Churchill gun carrier, AT-8, AT-15A, AT-7, Turtle Mark 1, AT-15 Tortoise, and the Badger. That's the first high tier set that Wargaming gives you access to. None of these other sets have high tier. Now you have to get to level 19 to actually unlock your first tier 10 sets, which have the 268, the Type 71, and the Vickers Light. That's it. Wargaming's basically forcing you. We can see again here, CS63. Yeah, bro, the CS63 is a great tank for a beginner to get. These make no sense. What you're doing is you're making it so that a new player is going to unlock the Tortoise set at level 15, but then they're probably going to hate it and they're going to quit the game, or you're hoping that maybe they'll hate it and then once they unlock more sets at level 19, they'll go for them. Also, tech tree sets, I think, cost 20 keys if I'm not mistaken, so I'm not sure how this is going to work. Because I don't remember who told me, but I think Rune I was talking to said one of the tech tree sets he unlocked was 20 keys. So as a new player, you have what? 3, 6, 8. Okay. So you have like maybe 20 keys. So you maybe get the opportunity to unlock one tech tree. That's what you get the access to as a new player. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic, Wargaming. I agree, bro. I agree.
It's staggering. Oh god, there's all this stuff, and where is my favorite tank? I can't find it. Some of that is the carousel. I'll talk about that in a second. But it's this daunting, unbelievable. Like, oh my god, they rearranged everything in the house, right? It's uncomfortable in that moment. But once you know where everything is, it gets easier. But we didn't do a good job of helping you understand and helping you see where those things are. For a new player starting from 0, they won't see all of those sets all at once. You see one set, you progress through, you go through a few things, you level up your player level, you unlock another set. Now you get to go back, you play there, and as you progress.
So yeah, this is a problem. You're forcing players to go down sets. You said, oh, players have too much freedom and they're overwhelmed. So we took the North Korea approach and took away all of their freedom. That's not good. Freedom is what I enjoyed about this game. It's why the 183 is the most ground line in the game. Because people see big alpha and they go for that line. And a lot of people play it. It's the most played tank in the game for a reason. You're taking away that freedom. You are taking away the choice and free will of the player, and you are forcing them to now do what you want.
Progress further, and your player level gets higher. You unlock more sets, right? So you don't start with seeing all of it. You start with a little bit, and you go over time, which is it's a more comfortable experience, and it's less overwhelming. We need to make the transfer experience for veteran players less overwhelming, because that is, I think, one of the biggest problems that we have with the sets right now. The other, on the carousel piece specifically, look, Andre knows, right? Like when we were playing, the first thing that came in was like, where's I had 5 tanks I was working, right? And now I see all these other tanks. Where's the tanks I was working, right? Those are the ones I want to play. The carousel, our intent with the carousel is that we're going to make it so that the carousel functions and all of the ordering and filtering and everything is going to be exactly like current Blitz. So when you are playing current Blitz and you've got your list of whatever your pinned or favorites or however you've got it set, whatever that group of tanks is that you see there in the carousel, in Blitz, when you transfer to Reforce, it's the exact same ones. Right. And I think that's going to help a lot.
I don't even know what that means. I actually don't know what that means, but okay.
It's no fun when you want to just jump in and play with your favorite tank and then you can't find it. So we absolutely, we need to do that better. And, again, this is sometimes, some of the stuff in the test, it's just not, everything's not done. And some of the stuff in the test, it's, you put your hands on it and you experience it and you go, oh, okay, this isn't just me. This is a huge problem and everybody's seeing it. So.
Yeah, so this problem that you're talking about is discoverability of tanks that you own, right?
Yeah.
And this is super actual for current players who has a lot of tanks, and that's again something that we are focusing on. We are going to redesign the carousel a little bit and the whole filters and factions menus.
Good.
To make it more familiar, more easy to do. Then again, there is the second point here is discoverability of tanks that you don't have, right?
Yep.
So right now the only interface that we have is this, the interface of sets, You can go with collections, but again, we
Yeah,
don't have this
bro.
full
Collections are great. I would love for them to tell me how they navigate the collections tab, bro.
big picture that trees provide.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot just look at it and say, okay, that's how the whole thing is structured. I think that's a fair feedback from the players. That's something that we already took into production. The guys are working, and I hope we can provide some visuals with the players in the near future, before the second ultra test begins, just to explain you guys what we're thinking about, how it should look before we actually implement it.
A view that should be more familiar to the people who understand the current, who are happy with the current trees, right?
So am I right to say that this change is going to be some kind of mix of our current tech trees and the sets?
Yeah, so the progress, we think the right thing for all the reasons we talked about, right? We want the way people progress through the game to still be through sets, but we want to make sure that people who've been playing for a long time can find things.
I'm playing
using
for a
things
long
that are more
time.
familiar.
It's hard for me to find the 10.
Yeah, look, it sucks when you're just you've had your socks are in the same drawer forever, and then suddenly mom decides to put them in somewhere over there. That's not fun. Where the hell are my socks? I get it, right? It's a totally fair piece of feedback, and so we're going to introduce some more UI that will make it easier for people to understand where we now have hidden your socks.
Okay, and
better.
We are not going to test it in the nearest future. We need time to implement these changes, of course. And of course, we are going to run another bunch of tests, not only one, but a bunch of. And we will ask you to jump on our test servers again and to share your feedback, of course. But everything that is going to be implemented is already based on your feedback because we are in Discord all the time. You know that all the weekend we were with you online, and so we don't just read Discord, but we make notes. We write huge documents for the development team. The development team is also reading Discord, and we know your feedback, and we believe that we understand how to implement changes to make the system better and user-friendly for you.
Yeah, I know. Look, when the trailer dropped, right, I saw a bunch of comments. Right,
Can we just get them?
well, no, people saying, I'm sure that nobody cares about this, and none of you guys are going to read this, right? I'm sure the dev team isn't reading this; they don't care.
Also, us crying for 2 hours.
Yeah, but the reason that we're here on the stream, right, is because we want to make very clear, like, we are reading them. We do take this stuff seriously, and again, like I said last week, like I see how clearly we have failed to give people the transparency that they want and deserve, right? And so we need to do that better, and that's why we're here. That's why you've got.
You've done this for years. You've failed to listen to what the player base has wanted for years. The problem is you don't ask what we want, you put what you want into the game. Skill-based matchmaking is really the best example here. The entire community said we don't want skill-based matchmaking. You put it into the game, first of all, without asking us if we wanted it, because you said players want it. The entire community on Discord said we don't want skill-based matchmaking. You guys removed it, and now you're putting skill-based matchmaking back into the game. In Unreal Engine. If you want to get stats, as of right now, you are forcing us to play in skill-based matchmaking. We all said we don't want it, and you're putting it back into the game anyway.
I'm right here, that's why you've got me here, and that's why I don't think you guys are going to be able to get rid of either of us anytime soon. You know, this is the new paradigm that we want to have. We want people to hear it, and I get it. If you think what I'm saying is really stupid, like, that's great. Listen, you can tell me, hey, that's just really stupid, that's fine. More useful feedback, of course, would be, here's the things that I think don't, like, I've heard your argument, here's the things that make sense, here's the things that don't, or hey, why don't you solve it instead of this way, that way, like.
Oh, I think my mother is calling me. Yeah. 1 sec, guys. Let me mute. I have to grab somebody's contacts really quick. So, do I have a pause screen? Here we go. Alright, 1 sec. I will be right back. Alright. I'm back. Okay.
That kind of stuff is incredibly valuable, and again, all the way up through, right? You know, for me and everybody else in the studio, we are all reading this stuff and taking it seriously. And that's why Andre and I were in meetings from Monday and yesterday and today that was basically just wall to wall to wall with all the feature teams and going, okay, this is it. This is what we need to work on. These are the comments. We need to address these, right? That doesn't mean we just, you know, okay, we won't do that, and kill it. But it means that we need to take it seriously and think about it and come up with ways to make that, the things that are the most painful for players, to be less painful, the things that are unclear, to be more clear. And, you know, like I said, it's not about finding a compromise. It's about finding something that works. And
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the problem. If you actually want that to be the case, you have to sit down with a live stream of somebody like me who will actually give you counter arguments when you say something. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Right now, you're on a live stream, you're saying your side of the story, but you're not hearing somebody verbally joust with you is really the best way to say it, right? I could give you many reasons and points to all the things you're saying right now, and I don't even know if you'd be able to come up with a reasonable response. But the problem is, instead of having people actually come onto your stream, and, you know, the problem is when you say, okay, we'll bring people on the stream, it's people like Amunet, you know, who, like, don't actually have any arguments, because either A, they don't play the game, or B, they don't really care enough to argue. You need somebody who, you know, I don't like to always say, like, I'm the best option, but, like, I will go onto a stream with Wargaming, and I will point out, you know, when they say, oh, well, we think sets are too, or tech trees are too confusing right now, I'm going to be like, okay, so you said that the tech trees, there's too many things, we don't want to add more to it. So what you've done is you've added even more to an entirely different UI where you have 18 different scrolls, 18 different thousand icons that you have to click through, names that are entirely different, tech trees that have been misplaced. You say that you want to make the tech trees more understanding, like the Electo grinding to the AT2, but then you've also put the Caliban in the same set as the 60 TP. Like, these are all things I would bring up, but the problem is they won't ever do this. I can't imagine they'd ever do this on a live stream, because at the end of the day, they'd be cooked. They would absolutely be flamed live. There's no way they'd do that. A multi-billion-dollar corporation would be taken down by, like, one person.
takes that feedback seriously and makes the best version of it possible.
It seems like collaboration of the dev team and the players, because we're taking feedback and we're trying to improve the features based on your feedback. There were some questions on Discord, so I will just read the question and you can give either a long reply or just a short one. Assuming that sets are going to stay in the game, will the development team work with the community to make sets that make more sense than the current ones? So I believe that you know that some things are not good for players for this set and they should be moved to another one, or the name should be changed. So what's your perception of
Yeah, that's actually the beauty of the whole set concept, that you can quite easily change its composition, move tanks between the sets. We've seen multiple comments like that. Like, why this tank is in this set, it's supposed to be there. And yeah, that's fair. We can do that. We can move them around inside the set, like change the level that the tank gets unlocked on, or change the price. So all this is changeable, and we are actively changing. So on the next test, the composition of sets will be a bit different. And this concerns, again, levels, prices and keys, when the set gets unlocked on a player level. Right now, we have the first setup that is on the test. We are actually monitoring how new players
The D point.
Actually pretty good, because the previous experience, when you launch the game and you have to start, you have to start with a high tier, and you would actually pick a tank based on the nation.
Yeah, because I'm from America and I pick American tanks. That's simple logic.
Yeah, what if I'm from Lithuania? What do I pick?
You like the red color, you pick Soviet, for example, German.
So basically, you don't know much about the tank itself. You start with you don't start with tier 1, and then you kind of progress, and then you come back to tier 1. Now it's much more straightforward. You start in one set, you progress in the set, you get the second tank, the third tank, and then you can pick either of two sets.
It's literally the exact same thing. It's the same thing. You start at one tech tree, you make your way through it. You don't start at that tier 1 anymore. You don't do that. Tech trees right now, you start at like maybe the tier 5. You play it for like 10 battles, and then you move on to the tier 6 that starts at the line. Tier 6 is usually where each tech tree branches off into its own way. You do not have to play tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 ever again once you've gotten enough XP to get the 2 tanks research. It's just not a problem. Especially because if you have plenty of free XP, you can skip past the tier 5 anyway.
So it's not this huge big choice for you in the early stages of the game. But again, it's a choice.
So you think that such a huge variety for the newcomer is not the best option?
Definitely.
It's when you're a little more experienced, it's variety. When you're less
I don't agree. And I think, well, I don't disagree, but the way that you are currently choosing the variety is very, very poor. And it needs to be done in a much better and streamlined process. You are limiting every single choice that the player has into like 5 different sets. And the way that you unlock them is very, very poorly done. So Yeah.
experience, it's intimidation, right? It's overwhelming. Yeah, like this is not just about us. Like the biggest reason that people tend to leave any game is if they just don't understand, right? Because if you don't understand how something works, if you don't understand what's a good choice or a bad choice,
You can't have fun.
yeah, you're gonna, and you're generally gonna.
That's true, but you're also taking away the choice from the player. The reason that players get better at games, the reason players want to continue playing games is when they make bad choices, they learn from them. You're trying to create a system here where nobody ever learns from their mistakes because they're forced to go down one path, which is taking away the point of the whole grind process, right? When I, make videos saying, oh, you should grind these lines, oh, you should grind this line, it's so that people can understand what they want to go for. And if you end up grinding the 183, I tell people all the time, don't go for the 183. I say it's the worst tank for a beginner to go for. And they still go for it. But then that's their choice. And if they end up not liking the tank, if they end up not wanting to play it, they chose that freedom. And they're like, gee, maybe next time I'll actually go for this line or this line. The ability to have freedom to choose what type of tank you want to grind is good. Now, I agree that, yeah, you shouldn't be able to grind a 183. You shouldn't be able to grind a Bosch Ation 25 ton or a T100 LT as your first line in the game. Make it so that they only have access to certain heavies, certain mediums, certain tank destroyers, which are very beginner basic. But there should still be about 10 to 15 lines that the player has the choice of going through, and you guys give a fairly accurate and easy to understand description of each of these tanks.
Try something else that's easier to get to, right? And so we are trying to make sure, right, that we piece it out for players, and parcel it out so that they have that, they can have fun, they can enjoy themselves, and then they get more choices as they become more comfortable.
I have the same feeling when I go to the mall and I have to buy rice, and there are 10 different kinds of rice. Which one do I pick?
You just call your wife and ask.
So you just watch the community.
Very simple question.
She understands. She's like tier 100 player.
We need professionals in every industry. Okay, another question about the sets. We told our players that if you want to open the set, you need to have the tank present and purchased in your garage, the searchable one, right? And there are players that have a lot of premium tanks and a lot of collector tanks, and when they see this set, which is full of premium or collector tanks, it's locked with a key. So why do I have to use my keys to open the set with a tank that all the tanks are in my garage, but the set is locked? So I don't like it. Anything you want to do about it?
Yes, we agree. And we're going to make tanks. Those sets are going to not cost keys to open.
Good.
Premium ones.
Yeah,
Like
this is a line of.
So, for example, Red Game set.
Line of collectors.
Red Game set, yeah? This is a set with only premium or collector vehicles.
Yeah.
It will be.
will not cost you keys to unlock it.
Yeah. We don't.
Good. I agree. Thankfully, at least they listened to that. The fact that you have to pay to unlock the ability to purchase premiums was incredibly stupid. I'm glad they're fixing that.
Look, we went back and forth on a lot of things, and I had some conversations with the guys originally about like, why did we do this? And then, well, yeah, we did this, and so then we changed the gold price and discounted it. Like, let's just make it simpler, right? Like, I don't think it's good to tell somebody that they should pay us so that they can have the opportunity to pay us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying, bro. But you're still doing that for tech trees, which still isn't a good idea.
Right? Like, this should be a set that's free to open, and so that's, a lot of times the simpler answer is better, and this is one of those cases.
I think there's another question here, maybe more general for players. So currently during the first ultra test, only purchase tanks once transfer count towards like progress sets. And we've seen a lot of backlash from players regarding the decision. And I believe we made our minds to have it somehow changed. Can you explain the details here?
Yeah, the design that we want to implement, that we're going to implement is the tanks that you have, you will get them, but the tanks that you researched will contribute to your progress in the set. So you won't have it, you won't own it because you didn't buy it, but the level will match.
Progress still counts.
Yeah. So that when
good.
Reforged.
So at least Wargaming has changed their mind there too. So at this point, if you have a researched vehicle, it will be transferring the progress over, but you will still most likely, you will still have to purchase it.
Your set will be on that level and you can just buy the tank.
I think that's an important decision and probably a very welcome one from player perspective. Thank you.
Yep.
And for premium sets. Thank you as well.
Well, and thanks for everybody for the feedback, right? Like, again, these are things that, hearing it from the community and getting the feedback, and, we want to make the changes that we feel like we can make, the changes that we feel like make sense. We're going to do those things. And, hearing that from everybody, it's like, yeah, you know what, that's fair. We need to do something about that.
Okay, another question about the sets. Why do we add keys to the game?
That's actually a good question. Keys, again, they are not a separate system. The whole system revolves around the player level, the sets, and sets level. So keys are the means to, at the same time, give you choice, especially when you're a newbie. As I said, you get access to two sets, and then you kind of go into one. And we want you to focus playing on that one, rather than unlock the second one, then unlock the third one, and now you have a bunch of tanks, and you don't actually progress in any of them. Some people would grind and defocus. We want you to stay focused, at least for a while, at least until you kind of grasp the main concepts of the game. How to control the tank, how to upgrade it, how to progress in the set. Then, when you progress in the set, you get more keys, and you get another choice. Like, which set do I go next? So step by step, you start to progress in tiers.
So just have it so you get the first set, the beginner set, and you grind through it, and once you get the last one, then it gives you the ability to unlock all the sets. I still don't understand how this has to do with keys, though. You could have... That's the lamest answer, right? Because they're still only giving you, like, 1 or 2 sets when you level up as a beginner. So what that means... First of all, for the people that are intermediate, let's say you are a player who has a couple thousand games, and you understand a decent amount about the game. but now you're basically told, oh, well, you can't grind multiple lines because you don't have the keys for it, even though you understand what you're doing. So Wargaming's screwing over the intermediate player base. They are also not really doing anything for the beginners, because the excuse for why we have keys is so that people can only unlock one set at a time, is basically saying, again, we're taking away the freedom for you to choose what line you want to grind. When you unlock 3 tier 10 sets like the 268 Vickers Light and Type 71, what if you research the Vickers Light and you're like, wow, I suck in this light tank, I don't want to keep playing it. And then you're like, well, let me go for the Type 71. Oh, and I can't because I don't have the keys for it. Well, let me go buy some keys. Yeah.
To progress in sets and keys.
They could have just made it so that you unlock the sets one at a time without keys, and then once you reach like a level 30 or 40, you unlock all the sets, and none of them cost keys. The reason the keys are in the game, and by the way, you can still spend money. It's not like keys are only unlockable by grinding. They're still allowing you to pay to skip it. So basically what they're saying is, oh, well, we want people to learn, but hey, if you want to spend money, you don't have to learn.
And the limitation, but again, they give you a meaningful choice. And then we need to compare the system with the current one, with the trees. So the perception is we are taking away the freedom. And right now, when you have trees, you can kind of go in any way. At the same time, your pattern will be the same. You will have to play on, on one tank, on the second tank, on the third tank to get to the tier 10. It's not like you can go to any tier 10 at any time. Actually, with the design of the sets, we calculated, when you played around 1,000 battles or 2,000 battles, kind of you get into this mid game, you get more choice because you can start unlocking a set that starts with tier 4, for example. You don't have to grind all the previous stuff. So keys help us as game designers to control this choice. And of course, sometimes we may get into situations like with premium tanks only sets. Yes, we made them unlock for free. You don't keys for that. Maybe there will be other sets that are unlocked for free. You just reach a certain player level, and boom, you have this set. You can just play it.
Can you state that if I'm free-to-play player, I don't have any money to donate to the game, can I be sure that I will be able to unlock the sets with comfortable timings without any money?
And guarantee that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you think is comfortable. But yeah, that's our goal. That as long
Depends what you think is comfortable. Interesting.
as you play, as long as you enjoy this game, you will have enough keys to start unlocking sets.
Okay.
And again, because I think it's really important, right? Like, how do people get keys? The main place that we see keys coming in, again, for if you're starting kind of
It's leveling up.
from zero, right? It's through the player leveling, right? Through that system, again, you'll see if you go in the early player levels, there are rewards where we unlock visibility of sets, we unlock different features. You go through pretty typical for a lot of games, right? Where you let people get understanding of how this works before you expose them to the next thing. Keys are a regular thing in there. If you go a little bit further past like the first 20 levels, right? This is boom, 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 keys, right? So the once you're through that kind of initial thing, the primary progression is actually is gaining more keys. Again, to Andre's point, right? Like if you just want to go and I want to unlock everything right now, and I don't want to wait, yeah, then then that's something where you're gonna have to you're gonna have to pay to do all that at once. But
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay things. If you want to unlock more than 1 or 2 sets at a time, you're gonna have to pay money.
if you kind of follow the progression the way that a normal player tends to do, that's not going to be there. I think the other thing, though, again, for players that are transferring in, and everybody who's watching this generally is somebody that's a veteran player transferring in, right? I think one of the things that we've got our eye on very, very carefully is the cost of those sets and the amount of keys that you get on the transfer. And those numbers are not final. Those are the first step that we made based on the test. And we're going to keep evaluating that, and we're going to make decisions about what's fair and reasonable for existing players to get when they make that transfer in.
Okay, so to sum up the topic, because we're kind of limited with time, sorry, about the sets, we are going to change the navigation to make it more clear and more transparent, and we will give you the opportunity to test it and share feedback once again. There will be a way to check all the tanks in the game on one screen, so there's going to be a kind of combo between the tech trees and between the current set system. We understand the problems, and we are trying to fix them based on your feedback. Answering your question, we will not bring back the tech tree, but we will implement this system of the tech trees into the current set system. So good combo mix, I think.
So they will not bring back the tech tree, which is what I said. I made a video. I literally made a video the other day saying it doesn't matter how much we cry, Wargaming will not bring back tech trees.
We'll ask you to take part in our next test and check it. Let's move forward.
Yes.
Battle.
Yes.
Actually, I think we have Blitzstick playing some battles, so we can now
Good.
enjoy it. So I think this battle part, we had like several main concerns from players. First one being physics, I guess. So some of the players, actually a bunch of them reported that some of the tanks do not feel like tanks. You don't feel the weight. It's still like cartoonish, too paperish. The flip over mechanics, though it's kind of fun, it still like feels a bit off in terms of like how you actually feel and experience it. So are we going to address it somehow?
Yeah, look, some of that, again, with the Amex Airlines bug being squashed, some of that should be addressed just through that. Some. Other parts of it are going to have, again, this is new engine, new stuff. The physics is interesting for us because we actually, for people who care about how the technology works, we're using a plugin. We're not just taking the Unreal physics system, we're actually using a plugin that was developed internally where we take the World of Tanks physics system, the Blitz physics system, and we pull it over. There was a lot of conversion, a lot of work that had to happen because it's not like you just do that and then it just works. There was a lot of variable training and tuning. But the core is physics that we've had.
That's what I've
made
said.
To work is kind of translated through so that Unreal can recognize it and use it. But it's so it's familiar, but it's not. It hasn't been released yet. This is new from a technical standpoint, and so there's a ton of just bugs and weird edge case stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I've said this in the past. I'm not worried about how the game's going to feel when the actual gameplay is finalized. I think that it's going to play fine. The biggest thing I'm worried about is just the sets, the UI, the way Wargaming is trying to change the game as we know it.
And that's where this, that's again the benefit of the ultra test and where this data is super useful. It is my expectation that the physics will continue to be tuned and tweaked and worked on all the way through all the tests that we've got planned, and frankly, probably for even 6 months to a year beyond the initial release of Reforged, we're going to continue to probably not massive changes, but we'll continue to have tweaks and tuning and balances, right, to squash stuff, edge case things, and weird behaviors as we see it.
So with current lists, we've been tuning and playing with physics for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it never stops actually. Right now.
For longer, right? Like because it was, it was during development. Yeah.
Yep. And what we're focusing on right now, yes, are the bugs that you guys submit. We feel that there is something funny with turning the tank, especially when it
You're like slowing down.
Yeah, it slows down when you turn. Yeah. So this has been addressed. Then we're running a crash tests and performance test when you would drive the same tank in current and in Reforged and try to turn. So ideally, its behavior would be the same. But yeah, we already see that it's acting a bit weird. Again, I don't think there is anything critical. This is all tunable. The good thing is that the physics engine, it works on server as it used to be. It's not the client tab. The server works fine. So it's a matter of iterations, tests, and this feedback. So working on that a lot.
So we have tools, we have feedback, we have everything we need to make it like run properly.
Yeah, we need more battles basically. We need more data.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
And
Or
then the engineers
data.
that
You have 300,000 games of data, bro.
iterate, right?
And I think it's important to mention that engineers will go to Discord and will ask for your help with solving this issue. So please be open, and we will be grateful for your help.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, right? If somebody says, hey, the physics is this, the physics is that. Different tanks have different behaviors, right? Different problems, different characteristics. And so for us, one of the things that we really need a lot more feedback on and a lot more understanding of is if somebody says, hey, it's to this or to that, what tank were they playing when they felt that, right? So what tanks do they tend to use and things like that. So this, the information, right, that the engineers are going to be asking about is to understand more of like when you say this, what did you feel, and also on what tank were you playing when you made that happen, right? Tell me more about how you got there. And that stuff is super helpful.
Interesting stuff that as the team was porting the physics to the new engine, we actually found out that there are some bugs in the current because and they've been there for 10 years. And we're like, okay.
It was not a bug, it was a feature.
It was not a bug, it's a feature. So for some bugs, okay, so they actually become features and we port them as is, but we found a lot of that stuff and which is going to be fixed in
the report
report,
update.
yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. So a few simple questions, and I want again simple answers. Why are you removing mastery pages from random battles?
We are not.
That's it.
Yeah.
Change the plans, I guess?
No. Again, in the ultra test, not everything that we intended to have at the release is in the ultra test builds. Again, back to first message, we didn't do a good enough job of explaining to people what's there, what's not, and what we're intending to do. And so I get it, you log in, you don't see a thing, and you go, oh my god, you're removing this? No.
It's not just there yet.
Yeah, it's just not, like we haven't finished all of the UI, right, for some of these things. And so things that are less critical from a testing standpoint are the things that are, that we haven't gotten in, right? The stuff that we prioritized was the stuff that needed lots and lots of testing to be able to get there. So something like mastery badges is going to work like it did, and so it's the risk is minimal, so we didn't prioritize getting that in to get to the first test.
Actually, I think I can mention a couple of things like platoons are not in the auto test, but we plan to have them on release. But some features, some features like tank rankings, when you play on a tank and it gets to its ranks, we plan not to have it on release, but it will get a bit later. So we're saving all the stats and we plan to bring it later, but not on release.
So nothing is get lost.
No. Nothing is
Certainly
lost. That's the strategy to keep everything that you have earned and get back to you as soon as possible.
So talking about medals, what about stats? Maybe we can show some screenshots?
Sure.
We might disagree.
Like in short, I think the situation with stats is similar. We plan to have as much stats as we had in the current blitz, so we can demonstrate some mockups.
Yeah, this is like, it's not from live build.
It's from there.
Yeah,
we can
To make long story short, if you don't understand what's happening,
there it is.
there is
Okay. So they do have stats. I want to know if stats are only available in pubs or I just want to know if stats are only available in pubs or ratings. That's really what I want to know.
a drama that we removed the stats from the game, but it's still the test server. But players are worried about the win rate. I started the huge scandal on Discord because I said that win rate is not about your personal pure skill, because it depends on the team as well. It depends on spawns, on maps, on many factors. We can continue this drama on Discord after the stream, of course. Very open. But
Okay, total battles 243,000. Blah blah blah. Where's win rate though? I still want to see the win rate tab.
win rate.
Win rate will be in the game. It will be for each mode. You'll have your win rate, your average damage. These valuable stats will be there.
Yeah, we're not
Victory.
losing anything, and we're not abandoning anything. And to be frank, as we do this stuff, and again, as we see things evolve, if there's a stat that people, hey, this is not there, or this is, then, these are things we can continue to work on and build on. But we're not. It's not just a question of what we're showing and not showing. Like the data is not being lost. We will have it, and so the way we display it and things like that can change over time because it's new stuff. But yeah, it'll be there.
Yeah, so the question right now from the chat on YouTube from Shell Bouncer: will the stats we have be transferred, or only rating stats will be shown in our profile after the Reforged update? I don't want to lose my S tankers and win rate. I graded in random battles. So the simple answer to your question: we'll keep everything for you.
And not just in ranked. Yes,
Yeah,
random
absolutely.
in ranked. Yeah.
I understand that there are a lot of medals that are super valuable, and you must be proud having thousands of ace tankers pages. So we'll keep it. We hear you. No worries.
Okay, so it sounds like we might have stats in pubs now, which is actually really good. That is definitely one of the bigger things that a lot of us wanted to know was, is Wargaming going to have stats in pubs? And it sounds like they will. I'm going to try and clarify this question when I hopefully talk to the dev sometime later this week. So that is actually good news. I will note that down.
Another question from the Discord: why are you removing provisions?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, this will be a part of the video
Yeah, the
about
economy.
economy that Thane was talking about. Just I'll try to make it super quick and short. Right now, provisions are this weird concept that you kind of buy once and you put it there and it exists on your tank, and then you go to battle and then you earn some credits there, and eventually the cost of these provisions gets deducted from the final result, and then the cost of shells gets deducted, and eventually you end up with some negative result of your battle, especially if it's on tier 9 or tier 10. But there is not much gameplay around the provisions. It's not like you are making this choice or it significantly changes the way your tank behaves. So we decided to move the
Provisions 100% significantly change the way your tank plays. Gear oil, food, protective kit, these are absolutely huge. And I said this about steel in the past. If you don't like the way that the credit economy currently is, then just decrease the price of credits. Have the price of consumables. Have the price of provisions. And then boom, you've solved the problem. Now boom, 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 you can run them on your tank and not worry.
performance that provisions give you to modules. So you upgrade your tank, there are several new modules there, and you will get the same performance but with modules. And part of this would go to the equipment. So equipment had some slight buffs, some slight nerfs. But
That's why we see the rammer boost from 5%.
yeah. Because again, there wasn't much gameplay there. It just messes with the UI, it gives you a choice. Yeah.
Up space.
And again, if you're a new player or even experienced player, if you're an experienced player, you don't care about that much.
Yeah, because you said it once 6 years ago. You made decisions about which provisions you're going to have, and
Yeah.
it just sort of happens.
Yeah. If you are a super experienced player, then yes. I mean, when every single digit matters, yes, you start tweaking there.
Yep.
But for majority of players, it's not a game. So we decided to exclude it from the economy to make it simpler, more clear, to remove this negative result battles. At the same time, we kept the performance. Like, super short answer.
No, it's not super short, and esportsmen
Come
would
on,
not
come
agree
on.
that provisions.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
It's
but,
useless.
no, it's not that they're useless. They're very useful, but you know, what Andre's saying is that we agree that they're useful, so we're putting the benefits into different parts to try to simplify some of the UI and things like that, right? The amount of involvement you take through it, and again, to get away from this thing where where you have this negative battle economy that can happen, where you end up losing money after the battles. Again, if I know people are gonna have more comments on this and things like that, but you know, we got through commanders, now we're getting through the sets and trees stuff, right? And we'll have a lot more on this after that when we get to the economy piece.
Okay. Another question also kind of related to the battle. Infinite ammo trick. So right now you can set 20 shells, 20 hash, 20 AP. Now it's limitless. Players don't like it. It's not about strategy. It's not about resource management. It's senseless, and it doesn't give you the opportunity to receive fighting metal. What about this topic?
Yeah, the fate in
That's an
metal.
interesting topic. It's actually related both to economy and your behavior in the battle. So in general, what would be the use case for limitation of the base shells? Like, what might happen in the battle if they are not infinite? You can run out of them, right? That's what can happen. Is it fun? I don't think so.
Only when you're in.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really fun for the other guy.
Yeah.
But
Like, what's the purpose of it? So we actually see it in the stats that sometimes people actually run out of shells in the battle, but it doesn't push you to any meaningful behavior not to do that.
You just suffer, technically.
Yeah, to just suffer. Should you save your shot to kind of save shells? Maybe, yeah, but that's not fun. That's not Bleed's DNA. So we decided to exclude it from the management of shells. And again, the situation is quite similar to provisions. Usually on a new tank, you would just set up your composition of tank and of shells and then forget about it.
yeah,
Yes.
if we were like a survival game, right, where
Yeah.
you know, scarce resources and all that is like the core of the gameplay, then yeah, it makes sense, right? But the the core gameplay for us, right, isn't about do you have enough shells? Did you make these kind of management trade-offs, right? The core gameplay to us is about angling and positioning and getting a good shooting
Clearance.
and getting a good shooting angle on on your enemy, right? Being able to figure out where do I go, where do I position myself so I'm not overextended and getting shot in the in the side or elsewhere. Where am I, how am I protecting my weak spots and how am I maximizing my chance of getting to their weak spots?
I remember one of the strange analytics things that we found once. So we checked how the people behave in the first battles. We found one battle where a guy would get negative like 50,000 credits for some reason.
yeah.
We were trying to figure out what's going on.
I remember this.
Yeah, so apparently he got all the gold shells, and then he got ammo rack on the second fight, and they all got destroyed, and he got into the negative. I mean, this is probably right, and from technical standpoint, if your tank gets destroyed and ammo rack, everything is blown up. But from gameplay standpoint, that wasn't nice. So back then we removed that. If you get ammo rack, it doesn't mean you would get all your shells destroyed. But again, here we go a bit further. We want you to shoot and not think about how much it would cost. Yeah,
If you run out of shells, just ram. That's the best advice to.
The reason gold shells cost a lot of credits is because of the fact that there's a punishment to firing them, right? The whole point of gold shells is so that you reduce skill and you increase pen. So if you make it so that gold shells are free, it means that a lot of unskilled players are instantly going to just start spamming premium ammo instead of actually learning from their mistakes. This is why gold shells cost a lot, because when you pen with gold shells, you don't lose credits. When you load gold and you bounce, that's when you lose credits. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to take away the reward and punishment system of loading gold, and you're just trying to say, oh, well, just spam gold.
We're restricting our YouTube chat. Good strategy for tourney. It's not. Okay. Should we proceed, or you want to add something else?
I think maybe a couple more questions. we
Yes.
cover.
Yeah, I want to cover some more questions. Maybe not a question, but a concern. Players do not like the current colors that we have on the test right now. You can see in the battle the Droodles and some kind of reddish,
The
pinkish.
colors of the UI?
Yes.
Of the HUD?
Yeah.
So the plan is to revert them to the original colors that we currently have on Blitz, and just a spoiler, there will be a little bit more of the feedback from the shots, from hits. That is getting.
Okay.
Actually, the team is working on that a lot, adding new stuff, new effects, new signs and feedback. But again, about the colors, we've heard that. Yeah, we're reverting.
Okay, and also it's very close to this topic, but the feedback that we have in the battle, I mean the text, the damage is white on white, invisible, and as far as I know, it will be also changed and improved, right?
Right, we're fixing that to make it more visible, more contrast. I think
Good.
with the new colors, it will work better already, but there will be some more tweaks.
Okay,
Good.
I saw the questions about the maps. Actually, maps in general were perceived very good. Players like it. Everything except the lava. The volcano. The volcano, it looks kinda.
The maps do not look amazing right now. Normandy looks terrible. I don't know what you're talking about there, Alexandra.
Unrealistic based on the rest of the map. And I've heard from the level design team and from the artist that it will receive some tunes and the volcano and the lava will be improved. So again, thank you so much for the feedback.
Yeah, we'll talk to our chief lava officer
Officer.
to fix that.
Yes, the lava nature.
Okay, so a lot of questions about the customization, about avatars, about camouflages, about the storage.
Yeah.
I think this is the end of the stream, I would assume, right? We'll see. Don't make women commanders better than men's, please. Bro. Blood, aren't you in this stream too? What am I reading? Please don't like World of Tanks PCs or women's commanders have more skills. This is not English. I can't read that. I regret looking at the chat. We're gonna go back up.
Players were so confused.
And with good reason, because there's a whole set of UI system that is not implemented there, and so right now you just have a zillion camos that you scroll through. Yeah, that's again one of those places where it's just like what we should have probably had is just a thing that says work in progress, rather than something that makes you think, oh, this is what we're intending it to be.
I was pretty confident that the camo system was not going to be the way it is when it's actually released, so I wasn't too worried about that.
This is one of the hardest systems to transfer because we have so many camos and we have attachments, we have epic camos, legendary skins. So they're very different and they're different for different tanks. So you can say that each tank has their own 600 or 500 set of camos. So it's around 30,000 entities. And yeah, we still need to transfer that. We still want you to not lose anything. And that's a lot of tedious work. But again, as Thane said, that's work in progress. What you see now, in the end, it will remind what you see now, but it's not going to be in that way. So please be patient. In the next test, it will be better. But again, any feedback is welcome.
Can we assure that all the camouflages and all the certificates for the customization will be safe and sound?
Yeah, that's our goal.
Yeah.
We will check with you guys. We'll monitor everything. Okay, cool.
Alexander, how about we ask a tricky general question?
Oh boy.
Do it. I'm done.
It's also from Discord, but we have mentioned it before. So currently we're testing Blitz Reforged. We still have like Blitz old school, Blitz vanilla on production right now. Why can't we have both? Why can't we release Blitz Reforged as a separate game and let players choose?
Yeah.
You can't release Blitz Reforged as a separate game. I saw Hammer type that earlier. When you release two separate games, you're just creating a split in your player base. One of them will guaranteed die. There's literally no point to do that. You have to go with one or the other. I don't disagree with Wargaming there. You cannot create two separate games. That's a terrible idea.
That is a great question. And frankly, from the beginning of all the things that we've been doing, it's been, we've gone back and forth about what do we do, where do we go, how's the right strategy. I believe that, so for one thing, again, the core battle, the fundamental guiding principle of all this, right, is that the changes that we wanted to make are around the core battle, right? Meta progression, make it, whether it's clearer and more understandable for early players or whatever, right? The things are around the outside of what is the actual core gameplay, which is the battle experience itself. And the battle experience in Blitz and the battle experience in Reforged, those need to be as close to one another as possible, right? Because it's still the same game. I think if we were going to go and say, hey, you know what, let's make this a different game, then we have to go back and say, okay, no, then Reforged needs to be different gameplay, right? Pull those things apart, make them very separated from each other, make a bunch of fundamental changes to it, to the core. And then, even if we did that, and then we have to continue maintaining two engines and two dev teams and all that. And then on top of that, the problems that we're trying to address, right, about whether it's crew or tank trees or anything else, those are still problems that exist for us that we feel like we then need to go solve. So we'd still be dealing with these issues and saying, okay, now what do we do with this and where do we go with that? Because we can't just add another level of crew because the disbalance just gets bigger. We can't just add 25 nations and have the tank trees be the size of an encyclopedia. And so in a lot of ways we wouldn't end up solving anything. Our goal is to make this right and to make this something where existing players can love it and feel good about especially again, the core gameplay is still Blitz. Yeah, maybe we put the socks in a different place or whatever, but the core of the game is still the game that they know and love and continue to want to play. Make that something that's easier for new players to get in and be able to enjoy because it's in everybody's interest.
Yep.
Forget about the finances. It's in everybody's interest to have a big, vibrant, growing, strong community of players. And the only way that we can do that is by continuing to bring in new players over time. And
I gotta watch that shot again,
a big,
guys.
vibrant,
I gotta
growing, strong
watch
community of
the
players. The only way
shot
we can do that is
again.
Continue to bring in new players over time.
That's great.
And so making it something, right? Walking those lines, finding that right balance where the changes that we make aren't so far out that that old players are like, nah, but still be something that where we solve these things that we need to solve to get the new players in, and make it a fun experience for them. So that's been the reason that we've been doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think that actually, if you give it a bit of study, it perfectly makes sense. So thank you for explaining. And I think it's a great point to take a pause today.
I cannot ignore the question
Okay,
because
I tried.
this gentleman is insistent. So, my lovely rock and roll 4, you are stating, make a poll, I believe swimming one, with question, do we like the changes? We will have a
Poll.
survey, not poll, yeah, on
Make
Discord
a poll.
and in the game, where we'll ask you what do you think about the Reforged update in general, and what do you think
The
about
survey,
changes
yeah,
that
but
we
you
have.
can just say, oh, you guys really like the survey and ignore it. Have a poll on your live stream chat so the entire public can see.
Implemented. Besides all the feedback that you give us on YouTube, on Discord, we want to give very structured feedback and analytics, and it will help us to improve the game. So, unfortunately, the director is making me to finish the
Basically
stream.
shutting down the
Yes,
screen.
unfortunately, so I will just speak without the ear. Thank you so much.
Screen, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. There are a lot of questions actually from the players, and I think that we need to keep the communication. Let's keep answering these questions because, once again, a lot of questions. To sum up what we have discussed today, the commanders will be changed and updated based on your feedback. The sets will be updated and improved. The structure of tech trees will be implemented in the current system. We'll do our best to make you feel comfortable in the Reforged update, no matter what. We'll have a bunch of tests, yes? So let's do it together, and again, let's work in the collaboration because we need your feedback, and we hear and we listen to your feedback. So thank you so much again for all your time and all the battles that you have played with us on our Reforged update test line. We're going to have some more tests. Stay tuned, and of course, we'll give you presents for your participation on the test server. You want to add something?
Thank you guys. Play Blitz. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for all the, you're exactly right. Thank you guys for all the passion. Look, I understand that even the most inflamed, angry comments out there, those come from a love of the game and a desire to make sure that we don't do things that screw up the game that they love. And so we appreciate it. We understand it. Keep them coming. Give us your feedback. Don't lose faith in us. We're listening. We're paying attention, right? That we can't always do something that everybody says they want because there is no one thing that everybody says they want. But we're listening and we are taking it all in, and it matters. And so even the hardest comments, we appreciate them coming.
Trigger happy. What the heck am I reading in chat here? What am I reading, you goober?
It's very
I should
painful,
say
but
gooner.
yes. Okay, it's okay. Just joking. We love you. Thank you so much. And we haven't talked about economy today. Stay tuned. A video will be published on our YouTube channel with all details and explanations. We love you. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm interested to see what the like to dislike ratio on the stream is. I'm very interested to see. YouTube. World of Tanks Blitz. The like to dislike ratio right now is not awful. 1,000 to 126, but we'll see what happens. I hope the game dies. What am I reading? Alright, well, I will make a video now that I've watched the live stream on my personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the information that Wargaming has shared. The good news is that Wargaming has cleared up some of the concerns that we have had. The biggest concern being stats. Seems like stats are going to be actually in pubs. I don't know if skill-based matchmaking is going to be in pubs because they haven't really made that clear, and I'm going to be talking with the dev, confirming that in a few days, hopefully. I don't know what's going to be happening with the sets because they said they're going to be changing them, but I don't know exactly what's happening with the sets. So there's a lot of things that I still want to talk about. As I said, I wrote down a bunch of questions, comments, and concerns, and some of them I'm going to have to change. Some of the comments and questions that I wrote, we can see them here. Topic 1, sets, talking about the poor choice of tanks to be organized in the sets, talking about the choice of using keys now to unlock. We already had unlocked tech trees, talking about the choice of sets for beginners like the Tortoise being the first high tier set icons and overall organizations, example Minnow being listed as expert when it's the highest win rate tank in the game for 45%ers. These are all things I'm still very hard set on. Hopefully these things will be listened to. Topic 2 of balance. Certain removed crew skills need to be added. Fire extinguishing, repair speed, camouflage. These are things that are needed to be translated from the current crew skills into the base game. Certain commanders like Olivia should be able to buff slow tanks like the Tortoise, the Badger, the T110E3. You're basically driving a frontline tank, right? The Badger, the E3, they are heavies. So these vehicles should feature the same ability of commander. Either make it so Olivia's available for every tank, or make it so that slower tank destroyers have a special designation and that they are allowed to also run Olivia. Currency, I said steel feels pointless. If players aren't using consumables, make tutorials in-game showcasing why you should use them. If you plan to keep steel in the game, make an automatic exchange for people who don't want to constantly do it themselves. Keys being a pay-to-win process version of tech trees. It costs too many credits to purchase and upgrade the new tanks currently. Removal of stats. Right now, there's no stats. See, this one I'm going to be able to change. I said right now there's no stats that are easily accessible to see. Removal of API, not being able to use it to the ability of 30-day, 90-day stats. The point of stats is for players to see improvement in skills, so make it so players have the choice of having public stats or anonymizing. Removal of stats in public games, forcing skilled players to ban skill-based matchmaking, which we clearly showed we didn't want the first time. Blitz is supposed to be a casual game, not a sweat fest. Topic 5, commanders. Future plans of implementing commanders, not putting them behind a paywall, making them always free and accessible for grinding at any moment. Topic 6, backlash. The reason why the backlash hits so hard. Ignoring the community over and over. The fact I'm a largest review, talking content creator, able to understand the community. My willingness to work with Wargaming on making this game better for everyone. Topic 6, direction. Or that's actually topic 7. Topic 7, direction. The overall direction the game is heading for a younger audience, seeming to push out the older players. The fact you need to still keep your current older players retained while bringing in newer ones. Those are my thoughts and opinions that I've written down. Now that I have some more information, I'm able to reorganize the notes a little bit, and I'm going to structure them a little bit better. But yes, these are the comments and concerns that I wanted to talk about with the devs, which hopefully will be happening sometime within the next week or so. So I'll figure that one out. There's definitely a lot that needs to be talked about. But yeah, you guys can let me know your personal feelings. Let me pull up the chat and see what you guys have to say. What the hell is that stream even for? They don't want to have players like you argue with them. They don't want to have any polls. Yeah, I do agree. They need to have polls. Like, the reason why they want to survey is because then the polls would, you know, if they have a poll saying, do you guys want sets or tech trees in the game? 100%, everybody would vote that they want tech trees. So they won't do that. They're not going to listen to us. At the end of the day, they're going to push their narrative. They're going to push what they want in the game over what we want in the game. We do not want sets. We want tech trees. Make the tech trees better organized. Make the UI for the tech trees better if you have a problem with it. But keep the core fundamentals of the tech tree the same. As I said on my video where I talked about sets, I clearly explained that what Wargaming needs to do is they need to make it so that the tech trees which we currently have are copied into sets. That's what they need to do. If they do that, they reduce the amount of sets that there are, and they make it so that it's easier, then I don't have a problem. But right now, with the way the sets currently exist, they are not good. There are too many of them. They talk about the screen real estate, and there's too much being taken up, and yet they're doing even worse with the sets. They're making the screen real estate even worse. You cannot say that sets are good for the game when this is what they currently look like, Wargaming. Like, we go over to the sets page. You say that the current tech trees are too confusing. Look at how many sets there are. There's so much scrolling, and it's not just scrolling up and down. There's also scrolling right and left. Look at all these sets here. We got this page, 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 and then we got another one down here, this page, this page. Oh, we got more. Like, there's too many sets. Look how many pages there are of sets. This is ridiculous. There are too many sets, and as you can see, they also roll over each other. Like, these two here are the same set. The current UI of the sets are bad. It needs to be reworked. There needs to be less sets in the game. They need to incorporate the tech trees. There needs to be a tab that has premium, and right now there's no tab for premium and tech tree sets. There needs to be a big button right at the top that says premium and tech tree sets. And when you do that, it only shows you the tech tree sets and it shows you the premium ones. The sets need to be organized in a way that it shows what is available for free and what's not. Like, there's a lot of problems with the sets right now, which I definitely need to explain. Like, what is this, bro? What is the collections tab? Like, actually, I want to ask Thane, like, what the hell we're looking at here. Like, I know what we're looking at. It's the icons from the sets, but, like, how are you actually supposed to know what the hell you're looking at here? There's no way I want to memorize each and every single icon. This is not, there's no way you can tell me this is better than just looking at each nation. It's not. What the heck is this? Freaking Ant-Man? Golem Gunners. Like, come on, bro. It looks like you went to Google and you typed in PNGs of animals and things, and you just threw them in the sets here. There's too many. They're too complicated. This needs to be changed or just removed entirely. The browse feature itself definitely needs to be fixed. It needs to be better. I don't even know what this means. Final art. I don't know what a lot of these things mean. There's exclusive sets. These are kind of like the premium sets here, where you got Valkyria Chronicles, you got the Battle Pass ones. Like, they probably put a lot of time into these sets. And I'm not going to say that they're an utter failure, but they need to be organized better. Like, this set has 2 tanks in it, bro. It has 2 tanks in it. What are we looking at? 2 tanks? It's just... Nobody wants to buy a set with only 2 tanks. And it's still 6 keys. Let's look at how much money 6 keys cost, right? Now, yes, they're going to be removing, apparently, the purchase price. But, like, still, the fact that this was even in their mind. 6 keys is like 3,000 gold. That's ridiculous. There's a lot of problems I have with the current way that Wargaming has decided to balance their game when it comes to sets, when it comes to the overall game, and they do need to fix that. They really do. And I hope that they listen to the criticisms, the critique, and feelings that I have when I do end up talking to them. There's just too much, right? There's too much. Why is a CDA in the same set as a Foch? It's not similar. Why is an Angry Connor here, bro? Once again, Wargaming's like, well, we wanted the sets to be similar. I'm sorry, but an SAU-40, an S-35CA, and an ARL-V-39 has no similarities between a Foch 155, a Foch, and an AMX AC-48, or, 1948. They're just not similar. And I think that, yes, you should keep the SAU-40, S-35CA. This should stay the way it is. This is basically, you've taken the tech tree, and you've thrown it into a set. And this is how it should be. But I do not agree with you're hypocritical to your own statements is really the best way to describe it. I really would like Wargaming to explain to me a little bit more in depth here. So I'm going to reorganize my notes. I'm going to reorganize my structuring. Let's do one game, and then I'm going to end off the stream, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to move over to GTA, and yeah. So, yeah, I'm not entirely negative. As I said, I am always a little optimistic about something. At the end of the day, Wargaming doesn't want to kill the game, right? The devs get paid the same way I do. The better the game does, the more money they... Well, I don't know if that's how the devs get paid. Devs get paid, you know, for what they work on. But at the end of the day, right? The better the game does, the better the company does. The better the game does, the better my views do. So, this is like a mutual agreement here where I want the game to do better, and it's why I'm very vocal on the thoughts, feelings, concerns, and opinions I have, and it's why I want to be very, very vocal about the things that I disagree with. If there's more things that are coming into the future of the game, and Wargaming would love to explain them to me, then sure, I'd love to hear. But right now, not everything has been explained to me, not everything has been told to you guys, and we need to know more about this game with things coming into the future, right? So that's really about as simple as it is. Alright. What is the age restriction for... what is the age restriction for Blitz anyway? I don't know, like 13. I mean, it doesn't really matter. There's no real age restriction, right? I mean, you can just Google anything you want to anyway. I remember when I was like 14 and I was looking up like live leak things of like people being decapitated and stuff. Everybody's done it. Well, not everybody, but most people have. Age limitations don't really mean something. It's more based off of... That's not a bot. That's an actual player. Interesting. But, yeah. We'll see. I'm going to make a video after this battle here. I'm going to make a video talking about my feelings on everything after at least we have this. Please stay with us. I know it's going to be ruined, but we still need you. We're gonna find out. Can we move out of my way? Thank you. Hooah! Did the ammo rack just explode? No. Good. Believe it or not, Olivia, we are still here. Yeah, I do not like the... Well, I don't hate the blue. All Wargaming needs to do is they need to make it... Okay, well, that's a waste. They need to make it so that there are more... Why can't they just make it so we have options of colors, right? If they made it so you have different options of colors, it would be a lot nicer. Ow. 2,900 health feels so nice, though. I will be honest. Having so much health in your tank does feel really, really good. This 57 heavy is so scared of me. He's just going to be absolutely peppered by this T100. Yep. L. Alright, well, you have fun with that 57. I'm going to make my way over here, and I'm going to shoot the BZ-68 who's been camping in spawn the entire battle. What are you doing? Boom! 487. Wow. I'm hoping that that 57 heavy doesn't yell at me, but we're going to find out. Mm-hmm. Here he comes. Maybe not. We'll see. Took out their module. Oh yeah, we did. We took it out all right. Bots are significant after the ultra chest, which is... Oh. Well, I'm dead alert. Unfortunate. Either way, I'm gonna go record a video. Thank you all for watching the stream, and yeah. See you soon. Bye-bye.